start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tammy is still at her daughter's, or her son's, I think. Son got married in Jackson Hole, and I think they're still out there.
It's a long way.
It is a long way. Looks like first on the agenda would be Nicole.
Good morning, Council.
Morning.
All right, in front of you, I have two CF1s. The first one is Reeve Properties. The assessor's office actually had received that one with their business personal property filing. So it was received back in May. They didn't give it to me till after when they gave it to me when they were going through their paperwork. CF1 states they have 36 employees versus SB1 has 19, and they are year 9 and 3 of 10 years. And then the second one is SUDA. Actually, that one was approved back in April meeting. I spoke with Frank at Nexus, and he said that that resolution was not expired. So, because I originally had it as resolution 2012-11-12 was expired, it is not. So I would just like a verbal to say that it's not denied, that you're going to approve the abatement. That's all I need.
Did we leave it pending with you at a point? Or
No, I just had marked it as non-compliant per se because the resolution was expired, I thought, but I was wrong. And so I just need a verbal saying that they are in compliance and the resolution is not expired. That's all I need.
Are they in year 10 or something?
They're in multiple years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What resolution, what do we mean resolution expired?
So whenever abatements are going through the process, they have a resolution number. And so we track those resolutions per year. And so I had thought that that particular resolution last year was the 10th year of it. And it's not. It's actually got 2 more years left on it.
Oh, okay.
That was,
So does someone want to make a?
I'll make a motion to approve the CF1s for Reeve Properties and SUDA.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then one last thing, Deborah Carnes wanted me to let you guys know that 70 Connect 3 has yet to make their economic development agreement payment.
Okay.
And they are appealing their assessment for 25 pay 26.
is that,
Okay.
and that's in violation of the agreement?
Well,
So-
it's so much. Is it over what it's supposed to be?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look at what it is. I just got brought to light yesterday.
The abatement application says, and they sign it, that they cannot appeal their assessment unless it raises over 5%.
But the economic development agreement differs from that.
Well, we're going to go
Whichever
through
one's
our process.
stricter is the one you
To me, the
follow.
EDA is a commissioner
Okay.
form, a commissioner's decision to do. And so they, I would think, would have some thoughts on all of that. Are they working with them?
Yeah, so Jeff at Nexus, who works with the assessor's office, is working with them right now. I had originally sent him the abatement application of what you stated, and I said, this is what it is. Well, they were responded back from 70 Connect saying, well, the economic development agreement says this. And so I just sent them the economic development agreement. And so they're working on that right now. I told them, I said, I have been given guidance that the abatement application is what I have to go off of regarding the percentage for what they owe for their economic development agreement. So they're working on that right now, but I just wanted to let you know, or we wanted to let you know what was going on, and they have yet to make a payment.
I haven't seen the EDA on that, so I don't know. Does it reference appealing
It
assessments?
references a price per square foot. So I would have to look through it, but I think it was like $52 a square foot is what it had said on there. And there was a percentage if it was within that percentage, but apparently it's more than that percentage of what they have priced it out at. And their argument is well, their building's vacant, so it should be less than what the assessor is pricing it out at.
And if it's been vacant for very long, they have the ability to appeal their assessment for economic obsolescence, and that's probably what they're doing, is they're wanting a reduction because of the empty space. I guess,
Is it okay if we reach out to Scott Beakey? Just
yeah, what I was going to suggest is that we just table this particular request until 1 month, and we'll hopefully give them
Well,
time.
it's really not a request. You just
They're
said
not-
that they're
they're
just
not
making us
requesting
aware
anything.
that they haven't made a payment.
This is
So
just a-
we don't have anything
sign.
formal
No.
we're trying to do right now anyway, other than figure
So
out.
you're not talking about pulling the abatement because
So
they
I
haven't-
have not put their abatement on the property yet because what had happened back in the June meeting was it was said the payment would have been made within a week or two of us talking. And so I was going to add it then. Well, we have yet to make it, and I've not added the abatement on the property yet.
So it hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it another month if that's okay, and
Yeah,
let
I didn't think there was anything in the EDA agreement about,
assessments and appeals.
Well, was that one of the first ones? Because the very first one was GDI, and then a commissioner went back to people who already had approved abatements and started trying to renegotiate EDAs. Is that one of them?
That is one of them, yes.
So, yeah, it was messy
Yes.
at that time.
Yes.
Sounds like to me we
Yeah.
better let the commissioners sort some of it out first.
I
think so too.
Yeah. That's it then.
You sign this real quick?
Okay. Yes, before you leave, because I may leave
They're the ones spending the money.
and not think till I get home.
Exactly right.
Yep, see you later. Okay, we've got plenty of time between now. No, we got Kayla next. Kayla here?
She was.
She passed out some papers.
Did Jim have a budget meeting update?
pardon me? Oh,
I think we have 7 minutes if Kayla didn't show up.
Approve the minutes.
here.
Giving her some call, but we'll go ahead and go down to some of the action items. Jim, do you want to give us the budget meeting update?
Sure. Number one, we reviewed the fund balances and everything looked good. Two, FSG went through revenue projections and changed the revenue projections for 2026 drastically. We had been looking at a net increase in revenues of a little over $1 million. Taking into account the SB1 stuff, FSG is saying basically we've got $36,000 of increased revenue for 2026. Nothing. Which was kind of major. We did change lit economic development in that the highway put about $3.5 million more into the lit economic development for 2026. Suggested, FSG is suggesting that we pursue an excess levy appeal for 2026, and I think that's another thing on the agenda. Also, FSG gave us a summary of looking forward to the jail lit operations fund. And it shows that in 2027, we're going to need to put more money. Going to come up short. And the auditor reported that the senior services reimbursement has only been made, they've only made one payment, whereas they should have made. So the state is not supporting so far the senior services. We talked about we introduced the 2025 GEO bond. I think it's on the agenda today to take the next step. I think that was it, if somebody else has something.
I'm, senior services, someone spoke with them about getting caught up with their payments?
I don't know who there
I
is.
don't think they've
federal.
heard anything.
Don't know anything?
Nope. Did you know something wrong?
I do not, and it's hard to get information.
Thank you, Jim. Kayla?
Morning.
Morning, Kayla.
A couple months ago, I came to you guys for additional money for my legal services line item. As you know, I'd kind of gone through my budget already due to some pretty big redevelopment projects. I did take some time, went to the RDC, got $10,000 paid for by the RDC for legal fees. But still, I'm still pretty well out of money in my legal line item. I've also exhausted my contractual services line item and really anywhere else that I had any additional funding stashed to pay for legal services. On the top sheet that I've given you today, I've shown where I've spent money over the last 6 months, one outstanding bill that I have still, and an average monthly legal bill of $10,000 to Brandon Morlock. My budget request based on that information is a big scary number, at least in relation to my budget, of $62,373.25. Obviously, that's a lot, and I know we're in a tricky time. So even if it is a matter of coming to the council on a monthly basis and requesting, invoice by invoice, my legal bill be paid, I'm happy to do that, or whatever this board sees fit. Rhonda Cook is here today from Brandon Morlock in case you have any questions for her. I think I would also say we've talked about ways to better track when a matter is related to the RDC so that we can more accurately track when we can go to the RDC for funding of our legal expenses. But really, this has been a difficult line for me to predict.
Well, I mean, we could look at a flat rate with a law firm. We could also probably, what we really need to do is put out, a request to get bids. I don't think we've done that in years. And to see if we can find a cheaper alternative, because our legal fees are just out of control. And I know they've done a lot. I'm not going to deny that, but I think the hourly rate they're currently charging, I think could be a little less. I know if I was not here and I was bidding, I would put a smaller bid, and not by a lot, but a smaller bid in. So I think that's a possibility. We also have Scott Banky. I don't know if he has a lot of knowledge in that area. Probably not at the level that Morlock does, but I mean, I think we need to look at other alternatives and options. And in areas you can do a flat rate with them and say, the only problem is that could get scary or get too high, but then you could just every year say, okay, all law firms in the state want to bid, go ahead and bid, and we can take the people that have the right experience with the money, not just take somebody that does family law and wants to do planning and zoning, but somebody that does planning and zoning.
I think the people that we have now, they were approached, I don't know if Kayla was here then or not, but they had been approached about the flat rate for the whole year, and they were absolutely a no-go on that. Now, things change, maybe they would consider it now, I don't know, but it wasn't that long ago.
The $10,000 and $4.65 that you have on the average monthly basis based on 7 months includes the outstanding invoice but then you add it in again under the budget request. So wouldn't that already be in the 50,000 that you're saying for the last 5-month average?
No, I took it out of that amount. I only included 5 months at that average. Since I have that outstanding bill, I counted it in at its true value. So I rather than adding in 10,000 times 6, I did 10,000 times 5 for August through December, and then added July at the true amount of that invoice because I know that amount. So that's where I got that. It is correct. Now, I could argue that December's bill will probably be due in January, so that might not be paid this year. So I might have overestimated by 1 month or $10,000 there, but I thought that would probably be safer anyway.
Well, I would like to see, I think we have to act on this, but to suggest that they start maybe looking for quotes for 2026 would probably be a smart thing to do, just to, kind of like I check my car insurance every few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go out and get prices, so keep that in mind that.
I mean, I don't know, but I would think it would be, at this point for our county, it would be tough to get a single one-time fee per year because we're the fast-growing county in the Midwest. So it's like that would scare the tar out of them thinking, okay, they could have to do 3 times the work if we got something.
That's the risk you take when you do flat fees.
Right, so I think
And
that's
you
probably not
calculate that in.
efficient. It would be maybe for Rush County, but not for Hancock County.
Well, you
Yeah,
can
I-
get a lower rate, though.
Maybe I could weigh in just a little bit. I think that there have been some extraordinary expenses associated with the growth. I know that the Plan Commission has needed separate counsel. Sometimes I have a conflict of interest because the way it's set up for me as a county attorney. So, and I know that Rhonda has done a lot of good work in support of various projects that have, had to be reviewed and looked at by the county. And I think that, those fees are built in. So I'm not sure that that's always going to be the case, but I can't imagine her hourly rate's not competitive. I know that I do litigation for the county at a significantly reduced rate, especially in comparison to what we pay some of the larger firms to do our work. I try to do a lot of our litigation so that, we can save money. I know I save more than what my salary is actually for the county in litigation fees. But the going rate, even here in the Midwest is, it's $500 an hour, at least for a decent experience. I do the litigation for $250, but I'm okay with it because that's part of what we always agreed to a long time ago. But it's hard for me to say, look at it, and Scott knows this too, where you've got a lot of these projects and things that just require, another set of eyes too. I'm involved in a lot of that too. So the county doesn't get billed hourly for that from me, but we do need a good lawyer on the other side to kind of advise the commission.
Well,
I wear a lot of hats. I try to do all kinds of different law firms, whether it's employment or contract or litigation, you name it. But some areas, like what we have with the Plan Commission, Ron has got expertise in that area.
Is there a case that was particular this year that drove the expenses up to litigate, or is it just a month-by-month, typical month?
Depends on the month. We did have the Stone Land modification and the Surge project, which we did take to RDC and got some funding from that. Apart from that, I would say that there were some changes in state law this year that required Rhonda's expertise to make sure we were in line as far as our notices and agendas go, things like that. She's been helping us as well, making sure we're keeping up with that information. So no, we try to track our fees as well and make sure that there's a balance between obviously fairness to our local resident and how much we're having to spend to hold a meeting and really review a petition and for legal expertise. But no, I would say the two big ones, we managed to get some money from RDC to cover those legal
And
expenses.
you're constantly, as things come on that involve something that could be RDC payment, ongoing, keep that back to the RDC, because
Yes.
as long as we can pay it legally, it should be paid through that. But you can't do stuff out here.
Well, is some of this due to the data center project? So why wouldn't that be RDC?
It probably was, and that's why I said she got $10,000 so far this year from stuff associated with the TIF districts. But she can't do everything. I'm assuming this stuff is still outside of the realm.
Yeah, I would say a couple big projects.
Unified Development Ordinance is a big one.
Been a big one.
And maybe we could have used Banky for that one to save money, and it's used them for a little bit of it. I think, we approved 100,000 for that organization to do it. We're not extremely pleased with how that organization is performed, but it's cost us a lot of legal fees, which we did not calculate when we approved a UDO for 100,000.
What project was that?
We passed it, 2 years ago almost now?
Yes. The Unified Development Ordinance cost $73,000 approximately. And then because the year ended, that 100,000 we had banked into it, some of that went back into food and beverage or the general fund. And so it was kind of cut off at that point. Anything since then I've been paying for through my legal services line item.
Oh, we
So the ask today is for 62,373.25, is that correct?
Yes.
Kids, what do you think?
I don't think it's a good use of Kayla's time to come back every day the rest of the year, but maybe we do want to talk about it again. And I don't know if it's up to this body whether Scott's over there though.
Well, it would be when I'm on the planning commission. And I think we just need to tell her, let's just, to be fair, here's the thing, Warlock's office and Rhonda herself, they're very generous to Republican Party here in Hancock County. So I think it's only appropriate to do a fair bid out there so that we say, okay, not only one of the best, but they're also one of the cheapest. And so that's what we really need to do.
Are all the bidding, though, for any contracts or anything, still have to go through the commissioners
Yes.
I think the planning commission would probably do it first and then go to the commissioners to approve
to
it.
approve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how it would work.
Yeah, because as I say, we're not involved in any
I agree
bidding.
with Keely about the repeat visit. I think you have laid out a pretty good reason that it's going to be a continuation for the rest of the year based on what we've already been doing.
Well, but the 62 covers the rest of the year, she thinks.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I said, make sure anything that can be, that the RDC can be responsible for, make sure you bring that to the RDC. There will be stuff coming in the next 6 months that the RDC is going to be involved in again, I'm sure.
There's not enough money to do anything with anything today through food and beverage. It's tapped out for right now. So if we're thinking about approving this, it's come from somewhere else besides food and beverage.
I would be keen on, if this was any other department, I'd want to start building the actual need into county in general. Even if it's not TIF related, it's fair to say that almost everything is economic development in some way. So I don't know if it economic development focused funds to cover these kinds of costs.
Could.
That's
I
kind
would
of
say
what I was
economic
thinking.
development's the only other fund we got.
The
That or the
economic,
general.
Yeah. And then that kind of puts us vague later on, like, how did we spend all this money? 6 months, no one remembers. Out of general, you know what I mean?
Deb would know.
I'm flexible on it.
I'm assuming you pay attention, so yeah, I said Deb would know. Deb would know.
It can come from general fund, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would, so do we have to appropriate in general or not, we don't have anything?
Still have to appropriate it. So what we've got is at this moment, about $90,000 unspoken for beverage. Get more as but it's dropping, so we still have, we're tight in food and beverage. But as
You
far
mean
as the-
from appropriated money in food and beverage?
Yes, from
Or
appropriated
from
money.
Yeah,
the
appropriate, we have
fund
more than that.
balance?
I say we do something else.
The fund balance
It's the
is,
fund balance.
it's tight also.
Okay.
But general fund, yeah, we just have to go ahead and do a thumbs up. Tell me where it's going, and then
That's the recommendation
Okay,
of the
well,
auditor.
I would
say that's
suggest we give the thumbs up to appropriate, I mean, I don't know if you wanna do this exact amount, or if you wanna round in county general. Being as this is not a one-off, one-time expense, I don't know that I use food and beverage. And even if we appropriate more, you know, if it gets November and December, and we've appropriated more than you need, anything that is RDC related, I really would like to keep all that going there, just so we can keep track year to year of how much of those costs are.
Well, and if it comes from county general and she does not end up spending it all, it will roll back to county general.
Right.
So it'll, it won't sit there.
I would say, I think Keely made a really good point. I think a lot of those fees are related to I mean, I think it's clear, you know, whether we have to do additional work, it's just part of our growth. And it makes absolute sense to try to fund that with those types of funds. There's ways to do that, I'm sure, so.
Well,
The RDC is one of them,
the
obviously.
economic development income tax, although it has a healthy balance, I think we've started talking about budgeting, trying to remember what it was. There was
Over 4 million for 2026
Right.
budgeted.
budget.
Yeah, so I feel like even though that balance is healthy, we have started putting more in economic development income tax. So,
Yeah, and but that too is in limbo if the grants don't come.
Well, the public hearings have to start in 3 minutes, so we can wrap this up.
It's a thumbs up, it's not a vote.
yeah, so we just have to agree to advertise, is
Yeah,
it,
at
do
a
you prefer
general.
general or economic development income tax?
I'd say county general is what the auditor suggested.
Okay, that's,
So we have
I'll
thumbs up to advertise $62,373.25 as an appropriation from general fund to the planning department, legal additional appropriations.
that amount again, 62.
$62,373.25.
Thank you.
So we have, we're moving forward.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you, appreciate it.
No problem. Still have 3 minutes. Does someone want to
I
approve
move
the
we
minutes?
approve the minutes of July 9th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I on the yes on that. I didn't say anything, I didn't say anything, but yes.
I did pass out, I did a summary of the last 2 years of, you know, we took over the radio financing of all public safety entities in the county. And so this is a list of the radio equipment that through 911 we have supplied to each of these entities. And you notice the total is 2.6 million. That's like $1.3 million per year for the last 2 years that we have supplied to these entities.
Has it been consistently taken from the same fund to pay for this? Have we considered?
This is, no, it's coming from the 20, some of it came, I think, from the 20 bond,
Fuel bond.
I know some of it's from the 23 bond.
So that this
and maybe the
bounces around?
22 bond too.
Yeah, we give Greenfield 370.
Okay.
Before we start public hearings, can I ask a couple clarifying questions on those items? Can you remind me, the supplies for field officer 3500 Deb, can you just remind me what that?
Oh, it's on this additional appropriation?
Yes,
Well, we'll discuss those when we open the hearing.
okay.
Yeah, because you can ask questions.
Yeah, you can
like
ask, we
everybody
can
else.
ask
Okay,
questions too.
I have
That way-
questions on a few of them, I just didn't want them to
Yeah.
get through the process too fast to ask questions.
Yeah, no, we won't. If you need to ask questions, definitely happens. So the information that Jim gave us was just for informational purposes and, okay.
What did seem, what kind of prompted me to do that was in the combined meeting we had, some people from Sugar Creek got up there and didn't understand where their radios were coming from.
It looks like we have
They
been a
thought
lot in 2 years.
911 was the financing all of it.
Oh,
That's a lot for 2 years. I'm surprised. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, so we're going to start with the public hearings now. First on the agenda is Behavioral Health Corps, Fund 2509 for $3,500. Is there anyone from you guys that have anything they'd like to say? I'm opening the public hearing now.
I speak to Mr. Shelby's radios about last week.
Well, we're doing the public hearing right now, so no. But you can, it's just, once we've started at 9, we have to finish. So is there no comments regarding the Behavioral Health Court 3,500? Council, questions?
yes. Can you remind me what that was?
I'm kind of going, I don't really remember myself.
Yeah.
Other than it was for supplies for a field officer, so I'm not sure if this is grant money that they're additionally appropriated or not.
I was thinking it was
Yeah,
grant
I
money, but I wouldn't swear.
I
to
think
it.
it was
okay.
grant money that we
I
just
think
had to
it's grant money.
appropriate.
Grant money, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We didn't give them food and beverage.
Usually the small amount.
That's why I just couldn't remember and wanted to be sure.
And I kind of try to keep my notes so I can comment on it if you have questions, and I didn't have anything written down there, sorry.
Well, if it was a grant, I
Yeah,
probably didn't
it is.
ask a lot of questions if it was grant funded, yeah.
Any other questions? I'll close the public hearing and
Make a motion to approve Fund 2509 in the amount of $3,500.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the list is Fund 4618, Principal Interest with the RDC, $325. I'm going to open the public hearing for public comments. I don't see any. Is there any questions from the council? Want to explain any of it, or do you know?
I don't know what the $325, it's a rounding error.
It wasn't, we have the cash in there, but we were instructed not to put that on our budget. So we knew that we'd have $325, so we just have to get it appropriated. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's what they did.
Yeah.
Who's they?
I'm gonna say that was DLGF.
Oh, okay.
It's $325.
Yeah, let's all go to lunch, but it wouldn't pay for it.
No, it wouldn't even pay for lunch though.
All right, do we have a, I'm going to close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
Motion to fund 4618 principal interest RBC in the amount of $325.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next public hearing will be for Fund 4908 EDA payments of $150,000. I'm opening that to the public. Is there any public comments? None. Questions from the council regarding this?
Yeah, I'd like to comment that I think we ought to use EDA money for our own purposes. It's basically TIF money, and it was intended initially for payment, I thought, for the addition of 9 new deputies for the county that were due to increased activity on the west side. We've absorbed 6 of those deputies into our budget. 3 of them are still on the RDC budget. And kind of the discussion at the time was that the first priority of EDA money would be for payment of those deputies. At least EDA money, I think, is for us, that is a county, and not for
Specific.
Yeah, I was trying to remember when we were fairly specific when we drafted the first EDA about, I mean, I think we were broad in our language about public safety. But at the time, like Jim said, we were adding deputies and we're like, man, it's gonna take a long time, but this money is supposed to help pay for the sheriff's department. Does anyone remember something?
But hasn't EDA money also been used for Buck Creek, all the firefighters they added?
No,
No.
that
No,
was
not yet,
RDC.
because
We
this
had
is
our-
the,
RDC, okay.
well, this is the
This is our
first
first.
time that EDA's had any money in it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we
And,
haven't spent anything.
That's why it hasn't been slated for anything else. I agree with what Jim says, but I think this first time here, we're already too far in. The commissioners have control of this money. okay? Now, we can agree
we
not
did-
to even
we did
pay a
too.
budget, so that's the only thing we have is we can say no, but we can't tell them how they can spend this money, because that's how the agreements were set up.
There's nothing in that ordinance that says that, Kent.
No, it says commissioners
just like
and
any other-
council.
Right, but the commissioners also control the RDC.
We have to appropriate it, it's definitely.
Well, and something else I was curious about, because I was here then, and I want to do what I said I was going to do, whatever that was, and it's been many years now, so.
Well, this matches what the thing says, fire and safety. Or, I mean, the EDA money was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it matches it's not that they're doing something that's not allowable with the money.
No, of course not. No,
No,
I
but
know
I think
that.
Jim's point was that it should be directed more
Right.
to the unincorporated area.
And I think it's good
Well,
that
it
he
should be
raised the
Buck
question
Creek
so that,
Township, 'cause that's where
in
all
the
the
future
EDA
it's
money
thought
comes
of
from,
differently.
100% is from Buck Creek.
But this is, this is a fire, big fire truck ladder. You need to have every department, the big ones. Buck Creek
Yeah.
has one, Vernon, Sugar Creek, Greenfield, because they're all going to the EDA area if a fire ever breaks out. You're gonna need
right,
them.
I know, that's why Sugar
That's-
Creek is available for that.
Yes.
And I don't have any comments with this particular request, but before we were to proceed with anything else, I don't see it as a decision of the commissioners, because this is the fiscal body. And going forward, like I said, I don't have a problem with this, but going forward, I would like to reference what we said we were gonna prioritize, because I'm pretty sure we said the first thing we were gonna do is find duties with it. And then maybe we didn't say that and I remember wrong. But secondly, going forward, and this has come up with the opioid money, this has come up with grants, money to nonprofits. Going forward, we need a process if we are gonna give away money by which there is a window in which anyone can apply and requests can be benchmarked against each other to say we went through a fair process in deciding how to allocate funds.
not
It
just
can't
who
be
comes
first
first.
up.
Yeah,
It can't be first come, first served. Yeah.
I agree
I'm
with
fine
that.
with that.
Well, this is a good red flag for this scenario, you know what I mean? To say, okay, in the future, we've got to have a little bit more thought on what these dollars,
Well, we need
these
to
dollars aren't coming in
We need to set
super
our
fast.
parameters.
Okay, but
Yes.
the EDA is an agreement, we don't have an agreement. The council doesn't have an agreement, I don't think, with anybody. The commissioners have an agreement with people. Maybe the RDC has an agreement, but the RDC is controlled by the commissioners also. So that's where now, that's why I'm saying, I don't really want to tell them now that this amount of money can't be used for what it is, because it is a viable use, and for the
That's
scenario.
true, but we do
Kent,
have a
Kent, I'm
request
not-
from Buck Creek
I'm not
Township
sure
with
it's
multiple
I'm not
requests
sure
on there
it's
as
a
well.
viable-
Yeah.
They're doing that, I thought EDA money was for operating costs. I looked
Well-
at it doesn't say that specifically.
Right, it can be used
This
for
is
operating costs
debt.
also.
Debt
See,
payment.
the other money before the EDAs couldn't be used for operating. This just added operating to all the other things it could be used for, when they did the EDAs.
Why isn't the RDC then, since it's a capital expenditure? Why isn't the RDC?
This is
if the
coming out
work-
of the RDC.
No, this is the EDA.
Well, I know, but the EDA budget is inside the RDC stuff.
Well, the EDA payments was to assist with Hancock County's operational costs for serving our employees.
So Deb, where's this EDA money sitting right now?
Yeah, why didn't they
It has
take
its
it
own
out
fund.
of the RDC?
Won't this take most of the fund,
Why
Deb?
didn't
Yes.
the commissioners
I
do
think
it
there's
from
only
the
That's what-
RDC?
That's what I'm asking. If this is a capital expenditure, we could always do that out of the RDC. Why is the 150 not coming out of the RDC instead of?
Gilly, can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
I don't know how he knows.
So this started almost 3 years ago, and we are following the procedures that you guys set forth for us to come make this ask. It was put to us to come and ask for a major capital asset, not little expenditures here or little expenditures there. I I think Mr. Fisk and I had that conversation. It was better to ask for a large capital asset as an outlay so that it was a program. And not only that, we went one step further. We made this so that it was a capital asset for the county. I want to be very clear. I'm not up here really on the behalf of me as fire chief for Sugar Creek. I would be supporting Mickey here. I would be supporting Flory. I would be supporting any of the organizations asking for this. This is a need for the county. Not just Sugar Creek Fire Department. I want to be real clear about that. And then I want to clear up one other thing. You asked me about radios last week, Mr. Shelby.
Right.
I went back and researched that because I didn't have your answer that day. The truth is we bought all of our radios in the beginning, Sugar Creek. As a matter of fact, we have donated our radios to the county. They're sitting at the dispatch center right now being used for EMA. So no, you did not buy our radios originally. We purchased our own.
This says we bought $60,000 worth.
Well, I'm sure through the process now you have, but originally your ask was, did you buy your radios? Yes, Sugar Creek Township did buy their radios.
What year was that?
And you're not going to,
John? 2012 or 2013, we bought all of our radios. Since we've upgraded since then, we gave all of our assets to Hancock County to be used for EMA and extra radios. They are sitting at dispatch currently. Yes. Now, I do have a great working relationship with Mr. Jocannis. We do work together to do that, but no, your question was, did we buy our radios? Yes, we did buy our radios.
Okay, then let's circle back around to this request here. That's
The
with
reason that
EDA
the
money.
capital is not coming out RDC this year because it's not there. $150,000. The RDC budget this year is below our risk tolerance.
Yes.
It's still going to have an ending balance, you know, but we have a risk tolerance that Gary follows, and we're below our risk tolerance because of all the stuff we've had to push in front to get done, the roads and all those things.
Especially
ahead.
if we
In
get
a
the
couple
grants or
years,
not.
then the risk tolerance is gone. You know what I mean?
Chief, let me be clear. I don't want to not help. It's just a
Sure.
matter of
No, I
where's
know.
the most appropriate place in my mind. And
And I 100% agree with you guys. We as the fire chiefs would like to know how we make those asks and what avenues we go. And I agree with you that if you guys had a set standard that we followed, we would follow that standard. I'm sure any public safety would. We would love that, you know, so I 100% agree with you on
I
that.
recognize that no matter how much we help Buck Creek, if something happens in Buck Creek, it's gonna require.
As I said last week, boundaries are boundaries, but in Hancock County, we're blessed. We don't follow those. We help each other, you know. There is no border wars.
So could the RDC reimburse the EDA pay? Because it is a fact that we said, well, we don't need money for capital. That's no problem. We can do that with what we've got. We need money for non-capital, and that was the whole
Right, they
purpose
could,
of EDA
but
payments.
the reimbursement won't come for a year or so.
Yeah.
Right, but can it be reimbursed? And Deb, that's a question. Does that require a resolution? Or maybe it's a Scott question, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it could be reimbursed. I would want it in a resolution, just so it doesn't fall through the cracks if you plan on.
Right, and can you make that for, we've already done the budget for 2026, and we make that reimbursement for 2027.
And I would even be okay with that. I just hate to, we started this for a reason, and then right out of the gate, we're diverting from the reason because the budget's low somewhere else where we normally would fund that. And that's fine, and I'm not against it, but I would like to do what we said we were gonna do with this particular fund. And if that money could come back later, even if it is in 2027, I would feel better about it.
I agree with that.
That's fine.
I think we did not do a good job of writing out what we want to see the EDA money go to.
You're learning.
Or learn
Well,
what
no.
it is.
We've
You gotta
been waiting
realize
for
the
years for any
EDA
money to show up, and now that it's here, we're unprepared
Okay,
to dole it out.
the inventors of the EDA, and now that the laws have changed, there's been so much in this, and the EDAs that were originally set up and everything, even those changed, and those people are not available. They're not available to come up here and talk to us about what their thoughts were. Some of them are in prison. So we got to deal with, with the aftermath of all of this.
With that said, I think that we could do a better job of giving direction out to the emergency management, or not emergency management,
Right.
but the different entities that do public safety.
Would a resolution
Mary.
be drafted before we vote? Would we have to defer the vote until after the
I
resolution?
think it should be done contemporaneously. That'd be the best way. I
And
think
how does-
Deb's right about, that's the way to do it.
And if there was a slight delay for us to put in writing 2 years from now, we're gonna reimburse this fund from another fund, how does that affect you?
So to be honest, we're just trying to get this project done because we're trying to work through the Senate Bill 1 stuff. We're trying to get things cleaned up, old projects done, new projects moving forward, laying out our budget. So, I mean, we would really like to end this debt. You know, that was our full intention of saving the money, selling part of our rescue, and then this money going forward.
It's just payment of debt, though.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it
Could I
could
say something?
go another month.
The way the system was set up was that with the RDC capital money, because it was all capital then, they were going to set aside about $500,000 per year for requests to come in from the public safety, you know, outside of the county. And they would have that fund to disperse the next year. That's the system that was set up. Now, we've gotten away from that in that they've already spent $700,000 a year operating for Buck Creek. So I guess they need to explain, do they still have the $500,000 a year coming from RDC?
No, so it was
capital or
about
not?
2-3 years ago, if you
That's
remember,
not
there was a
us.
3-year agreement signed with Buck Creek to bring their system up to speed.
Right.
$750,000 a year for like 3 years.
Okay,
At the
so they
same
still
time,
have the $500,000 a year in capital that they are using as a fund to respond to requests?
no,
Bonding for the school eliminated all
right,
the
this,
money.
well, no, yeah, the school, that 500,000 for everybody then turned into 750 for Buck Creek. The school gets 250, the sheriff's
gets-
department gets, I don't know exactly now, you know what I mean? I have to look exactly because, the new request, but, so that one original, hey, we're just gonna take 500,000, give to everybody. When I came on the board 2 years ago, the commissioner says, we're not gonna, Buck Creek has the biggest need at the time, and they requested 3 million, and we give them 750,000 for 3 years, in an agreement, and we're still in the middle of that agreement. But there is going to be money available for capital expenditures still in the RDC budget. We have to get by the current projects first that's been set into motion. There's, you know, a long-term program with Cordsville that's tens of millions of dollars. There's all the things that they're doing, you know, the roundabouts and all those things that have been set into place. This is kind of the pinch year for that stuff, which we should be spending that money. We shouldn't be sitting on $10 million. We should be down to where it's a risk tolerance situation until we get caught up with the roads and everything that we promised 2 or 3 years ago, everybody we would.
So,
Well, when you get into a cash flow situation, you just what you can with what you got
Right,
at the time.
right. And that's why I said it isn't a problem to reimburse the
Rather
EDA.
than looking for other
In the
places
future.
to get the money from. why
That isn't a problem.
Wait.
In the future, I don't know why we would even have EDAs,
well,
because it's redundant now that the law has changed.
We don't now.
Yeah.
I'm going to close the public hearing. And did you have something, Mickey, you wanted to add?
Thank you,
though?
Mary.
You're
No,
welcome.
thank you.
I want to make 2 points about the EDA money and Buck Creek RDC money. Number one, as I understand it, the EDA money comes out of Buck Creek Township and is to be used back in the taxing district. Now, we have no problem, I know it's supposed to be for roads and public safety and schools. And that particular use is to help support public safety in our township. So I'm all for that. Believe me, I'm in line. If you set this precedent, I'm in line because you know we are behind on everything. The other point that I'd like to make for the RDC money, again, RDC money comes out of TIF money, Buck Creek money, again, we're generating all of this money. So while I am eternally grateful that we were able to hire 6 last year. We're still way behind, so I don't want you to think of this as, this is a one-time thing. We are in our budget trying to make sure that we've got money, so if that, because you won't re-sign the MOU, that our budget will take care of that $750,000. We are budgeting responsibly as I can with the pool of money that we have. But we are still way behind. The one other point I'll make is the EDA money. Yes, sheriff falls under public safety, but we have nowhere else to go for any money to fund the fire department or the township. The sheriff has the entire county in which he pulls tax money for. I'm not trying to say that you need to, diss the sheriff at all. I'm all for public safety, believe me. But it is a point that for Sugar Creek to come, that is one of the only ways that they have to be able to get money to pay off to support public safety in the TIF district.
But that's a state problem. And they've made it a
Yet I'm
county
holding the
problem.
checkbook.
Yeah.
Wait, so are you suggesting, I'm confused, that you think that you should have had the opportunity?
No.
Or you are supporting the request?
You know what, I'll
for-
support. They support us. I will absolutely support them. And I think that it is, with the way that I read it, and maybe I'm wrong, is that EDA money was supposed to go back to support the TIF district. They support the TIF district.
I see what you're saying.
So it's fine. The sheriff supports the TIF district. I mean, you can make that argument for all of us. But my point is that the sheriff has the whole county in which they collect tax money from, and the townships only have the areas in which we.
You were the reason we have the EDAs, because we couldn't hire fire personnel, okay? It wasn't just police officers, it was fire personnel. We couldn't hire a fire person for you without the EDAs. Now, after we did it, the state said, oh, well, that is kind of stupid that we don't allow them to use the money for anything but buying a piece of equipment. And then they changed that. But the reason we have the EDAs is because of the Buck Creek Township Fire Department.
Okay, I'm going to close
And
the
now we're
public
back to talking
hearing.
about spending
Thank
on
you,
capital.
Mickey.
Yeah, I know.
So, is
That's
there,
fine.
is there anyone,
Do it.
is there any action that anyone?
So could you have the appropriate ordinance by the next meeting that could be, or resolution, I'm sorry, that could be voted on to say that this will be reimbursed in 2027, and then 2027, he said?
2026 is done.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
and
makes
then I would feel comfortable moving forward.
That's fine.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, so then what's appropriate, since this was a public hearing specifically, if we were to table this just one meeting, do you have to do another public hearing, or you're allowed to table to a specific?
But we have to vote on, either we have to table it or we have to vote on it. So if we're going to table it till our next meeting, which would be the budget meeting, then I would say it's just going to, there won't be a vote taken today, and we'll put it on the agenda for the budget meeting and act on it depending on.
My interpretation and prior reading of the law was that if you table it, as long as it's not indefinite and you assign a specific date to revisit it, you do not have to re-advertise it. Is my understanding right?
That is accurate.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to table this particular vote until the first Wednesday of September.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So
And then I
Next
intend to be
month.
supportive when we have our other document in place.
Right. No worries.
So what I'll do is have the resolution available that day as well.
Yeah, we can vote
Thank
on
you.
that resolution, and then we can vote on the.
all right. The next on the list is public hearing for Fund 7201, Food and Beverage, an appropriation of $650,000. Is there any comments from the public? Council, any questions?
Oh, did I hear it that we have not received senior services reimbursements? Would we have typically already received those?
We have received first quarter,
Oh, okay.
but but it's diminishing. It's not at the full 100%. It went down to 75, and I think it's at 50, but I don't have it in front of me.
Sounds right.
So we have received the first quarter. That's it so far, and it's slow. It's a state thing.
But does anyone know if they were to do away with reimbursements, how much notice would we have before it happens? Is that a quarter-to-quarter decision? Is it
I
a
have
no
no
idea?
idea.
Wouldn't you think it'd be yearly? I
Whatever
mean,
the
they
state
would tell
wants
us
to
for
do. I mean,
next
they're
year.
passing laws that are implemented in July, you know? I don't know what
Just
they're gonna
notice
do.
that.
Okay.
If there's no more questions from the council, I'll close the public hearing.
I move we fund the food and beverage fund 7201 for $650,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last on the list is a request of an additional appropriation of Fund 8892. The public hearing is open for Title 4E Foster Care, $4,000. Went out in the public that have any comments on that? Council, any questions? Close the public hearing.
I move we accept Fund 8892, Title
Second.
4E.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That puts us at the end of the public hearing, and we will have Vernon Township Flory May.
Good morning. I'm here both on behalf of Vernon Township as the trustee and as the executive of the provider unit for Vernon Township Fire Territory. And I'm going to probably echo a little of what Chief Klein talked about a few minutes ago, just in terms of maybe a framework for funding in the future as I talk through some of these items. I'm here really to talk about the CIP requirement, and but this I think leads to other discussion. And so I had the riveting pleasure of sitting through both Ways and Means and the transportation committees at the State House last spring. I know you're all envious. And in the last session, the legislature required that townships submit their capital improvement plans to the county councils for review this August. And that we use a mandated DLGF form as part of the road bill. I'm sure everybody is very familiar with this. It was very obscure, and it was so obscure that we all got, all of the townships, we just received the mandated template at the end of July. There's a challenge with the template in that it doesn't calculate correctly. So you have received ours. You will see that it has a negative 408,615. That is incorrect. It's because it tabulates incorrectly. We can't fix it. We've let DLGF know this. So you can look at this.
I'm sorry, do you have these in your packets?
No,
I
wait.
think they do have them in their packets. Did you bring copies of them?
No, it was sent to you, and I thought you were going to put it in the
Sorry,
packet.
that was my bad.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and
that?
print that off.
Okay. So you'll get
I
that.
saw them looking, I'm like, I don't think they have it
Okay. So Deb, you're going to.
right now.
Okay. So I'm just going to give you the bottom lines because, quite frankly, it's not that big a deal. All of the townships are to get you their capital improvement plans in August. The purpose and the real reason I'm here is I think what you're going to find is it isn't that big a deal, but it's going to be a bigger deal moving forward. The point of this whole exercise with the road bill was to determine if there was extra money in the township budgets to help fund roads. And we are all required to set up road funds. So Vernon Township set theirs up last night, and we had our township board meeting. We have approved our capital improvement plan. We have $16,505 that we will put into the road plan. And we have already identified an MOU that we will do with the town of Fortville for a sidewalk project and for drainage in our TIF district that we share. So my understanding is the purpose of these CIPs and the purpose of having the county review this is that you understand what we are doing with our money.
But you're saying that that is not completed yet, the review has not been finished yet, or the numbers aren't calculating correct?
We have done ours. We know what it is. I'm just telling you the DLGF's form doesn't work.
Okay.
We have sent Deb our capital plan with the numbers that do calculate correctly. We have also sent you the DLGF form with the formulas that don't calculate correctly. Does that make sense? Okay. So you've got our capital improvement plan. We went ahead and did it because we did not receive their form until last week of July? Yeah, last week of July. Not enough time to properly get back to anybody and have your meetings. Ours happened to work. It happened to work because we had already done our capital improvement plan because we did ours back in the spring with our fire territory. So
Is it fully funded by your tax rate, your capital improvement plan, or has the RDCs in the district budgeted, or none of this speaks to how it will be paid for? It's just the intention of the capital improvement?
no, our capital improvement plan, so we have been doing since year one of forming our fire territory. And it is just a normal portion of our budgeting. How much money do we have? And what are we going to do with our capital? And how are we going to replace vehicles? How are we going to replace apparatus? When do we need a station? How much money do we need to save? We do not have a ladder truck. So we have been saving since year one. We have been focused heavily on our insurance rating, and we went from a 7-10 split, which is not good, to this past April, we got a 3, which is a huge, huge improvement. The one big thing we are missing is a ladder truck. The reason I was so interested in going to Ways and Means and Transportation was their analysis of our budget showed that Vernon had $5 million in excess. I wanted to find out where that $5 million was. Well, as it turns out, their analysis was our debt on our 2 stations and our payment on our apparatus.
And assets?
I don't know how they do their analysis. I would like to understand that. And our savings in Trust Indiana, we have 1.68 sitting for our contract for our ladder truck. And you know how long it takes to get a ladder truck? Chief Klein does.
Years?
Years. We contracted last year, and we will get it next year.
It's disheartening to me that I know what the growth is up there in Vernon Township because I live in Vernon Township, that you're telling us that the 2 municipalities, RDCs, are not giving or participating in any of the help that you need to
Oh, no,
purchase.
that is not what I said. The RDCs do not.
That's who I'm referring to, is the
But
RDC.
the 2 towns have given substantially of their fire rate, and if you look at the way our fire territory is funded, it is almost completely from the 2 towns. The township is a tiny portion of our fire territory funding. And the reason that we were able to fund our fire territory and the reason that we have been successful in moving forward is because when we formed the territory, we were able to go from that .03 and move to the .52 that we have now. So no, the towns have been not only supportive, but the 2 town council presidents sit on the fire territory board, and the 2 town councils vote on every single thing we do.
I was referencing the RDCs, not the towns.
Yeah, the RDCs have not been supportive. Yeah.
As in requests have been declined, or it's been mutually agreeable that since the towns themselves have provided the funding they have, that it is appropriate not to approach the RDC, or you've been declined by the RDC.
There's been some negotiations that have been difficult. Why don't we leave it at that?
Okay.
Yeah, at this point.
What is your fire rate? Just curious.
.52.
Pardon me?
.52.
0.52, 52 cents per
Yes.
hundred. Okay.
I have a couple questions. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
And I'm surprised, you said that some money's going for roads?
So we will put $15,000 in the road fund, and it will go towards an MOU with the town of
I didn't
Fortville.
know townships were doing roads and.
So the new bill that went through the House bill that I was referring to,
Yeah.
that went through in this past legislature, townships are now required to set up a road fund.
Really?
Blows my mind with
That's
them
new.
already being strapped, why you would be asked to give any.
It's it is I sent an email to Deb which outlines exactly what's happening. And it is to financially pull away funds from townships. It's, yeah,
They hate townships.
yeah, they've made it perfectly clear.
They're trying to get rid of town.
So what do they hope by creating this new requirement that you report your capital improvement plans to us? What is it they hope to achieve through that
So
process?
that is a great segue to the bigger picture of why I came.
Oh, okay.
So I think the first step in this, as I said, is that the county would be aware if there are any funds that would be available for county roads. And so that probably would be more likely to happen with townships that are completely unincorporated. I have 2 towns, so it is more likely that my money would be with MOUs with the towns. I think the bigger picture of these CIPs goes into effect once we move into the effects of Senate Bill 1. And we start looking at the impact of lit. And we start looking at the realities of how much of our lit, not public safety lit, our lit, the township lit, is funding township fire. And so in my case, I transfer all of my township lit to my fire department. All of my lit is now going to go away in the future.
And that is how much annually?
We're looking at almost $1 million. Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
It's 2.2.
And that's not being replaced, that is just simply money going away.
Now, when I spoke to, we're trying to clean things up, it's so we can overcome that deficit. I mean, we are strapped.
Yes.
All 3 of them.
Yes.
Strapped.
So my reason for coming today was I believe the CIPs, I think, what you're going to get from each of us, this is the beginning of the discussion. This is the future of the discussion, and we need to figure out what the format is. And that was my question to Deb, is how are we going to start having the discussion of where we're going with Senate Bill 1? It's not really about the road bill. I mean, bluntly, you're going to get peanuts from all these townships. There's not enough money out there. They have tiny budgets. And most of mine comes from 2 towns. You're not going to get that money. Even if we were dissolved, if you took Vernon Township alone, so what? The tiny money. So I really think we need to start looking at, I would encourage the council to start looking at these CIPs. I am assuming you are going to ultimately get them from all of the townships, and that we would look to the county to say, how do you want this process? I assume you don't want them piecemeal, and that's how you're going to get them right now. And that there should be some sort of review process in terms of you're getting apparatus and operations, and you're going to get all of these pieces. We can do this smarter.
What would make sense in preparing for the future? Do we need a professional in this space to do a study?
So
Options for the 10-year plan, or?
I think so, because I know there's been the request for the fiscal study on fire. I would partner that with a look at the impact on, and I think they added to it the impacts of Senate Bill 1. I think the commissioners funded that study. I think the council needs to piggyback on that and start looking at, okay, how does that impact, and how do these capital improvement plans come into effect, and start looking at, okay, what are the real impacts?
If the commissioners said funded already from their budget some analysis. So you said they already funded it, right?
Yes.
So when we talk about council piggybacking, does that mean there is a need for access to what's already been approved, or?
I think a plan needs to come out of that, because the reality is, if you go back and you're going to have to set a rate, and you're going to have to be aware of what the impacts are. There's a requirement to set a rate. It includes the territories at 0.4 for that lit.
Did you have a deadline that this was supposed to be presented to the council?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a deadline date that capital improvement plan needed to be submitted to the council?
August.
August 1st?
August.
August. So
August.
You're the first, as you said, of all the townships, so I think it would be good on our half is to receive the others and then maybe do a little bit of our own studying and figure out what we think we need to do.
Gotten another one emailed, and there's so many tabs, so it's been emailed to you. If you've got a copy there that is printed out, we'll take it and make copies of it.
Okay.
But they're starting to come in now, I think. It's new, so there may be some people that miss it, but they're starting. I mean, I got hers, and I'm like, I hadn't even heard about this yet. So
even the townships with volunteer departments are supposed to do that, or is this?
Every single township. And if they do not submit their CIPs, if they do not upload them into Gateway by the end of September,
I know.
they will not receive their budgets.
I didn't know about it.
So it's a very serious deal.
Thank you so much for bringing this to us and saying everything we needed to know, because this is new for us as well.
We didn't get the memo,
Yeah, we didn't
otherwise.
get
I think a lot of people didn't.
Had you heard about it?
I just want to speak to what Lori's saying also. Ours will not be done by August. It's impossible because our accountant's not prepared to have it done by then yet. And plus, we have to present it to the DLGF by September. So we're giving you numbers that we don't even know that are approved. So the system's backwards. Would you agree, Flory?
What's the punishment if they don't turn in?
Well, I think this initial step, just like any time they're throwing these laws down, I mean, all of our TIF neutralizations are gonna be late this year because they've changed our deductions and some of the factors that we have to use. So it's just, that's just part of the growing pains. First year is gonna be probably a little bit slower, but we'll get it, they'll get it to us.
I think, to my point is,
file a motion. to
My
continue.
reason for coming today was saying, these are the changes that are coming, and this is the process that's going to be forward. I'm bringing mine as the, hey, we're here, we need to have these conversations, road bill, township rates going forward. And, oh, by the way, there's going to be a whole bunch more of these coming. Could we please organize this so that we're not doing this piecemeal?
Thank
I
you.
probably should have just said that one sentence right in the very beginning. I hope this was helpful.
You have what you need right now from the commissioners to move forward with a project to hopefully.
I think we've gotten a good start in terms of that hopefully will help inform the process.
Okay.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you for the time.
Greg was talking about this,
Josh?
but he said. Coming.
Good morning.
Should be relatively easy. I did have a question in our 2100 fund. We had 4 positions that I had asked for more than 3% that were reduced back to 3%. In line 11300, I have the 2 salaries equaling 82,354. It looks like that is $1 more than what is put into now. So to me, it's $1 short. And in the subsequent line, 11602, there are 2 secretaries. I have that total as 87978, which is $2 short of where I have it at. I don't know how I go about correcting those errors in Laos since that's now locked. But I wanted to make sure we weren't falling short on those appropriations.
Is that for the 26 budget?
That's the 26 budget under 2100. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That-
Well, we can
We're
still
reduced
make
back down to
changes.
3%. So we redid,
We can still make changes, right?
yeah.
If you make the motion, we'll make the changes.
Okay. All right. What about this salary increase that was typed up, the $600 that you're referencing in Fund 2100?
So we did not get the grant that we expected from the IDOC. So that affects 2100 as well. So there'll be a change in line 12003 in Fund 2100. We will have to move that to $63,997. That will incorporate that $600 or whatever. Then we'll also have to change 3 lines in 9126, which is the IDOC grant for 26. The total grant was reduced to $45,798. Just so you guys are aware, the Indiana Department of Corrections eliminated several programs completely from their grant funding. Probation across the state looks like it took roughly a 20% hit, so I'm happy that we got anything. I hate that we lost money, but I'm happy that we got something. We divided that 45,798 up. The salary portion in line 12003 will be 38,000 even. The FICA portion under line 12400 will be 3225. The perf line 12600 will be $4,573.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Need all 3
Or
to
just 4,500.
4573. And that should account for the changes we've seen that were affected by the grant budget.
So we're talking about 2 funds, 2100 and 9126?
Yes, ma'am. The change made in 1001 with our office manager, you guys changed that in Laos, so that is also reflected in the 140.
Any questions? These are additional appropriations, correct?
Yes, the 26th.
Oh, these are just
They just did
budget
the
changes.
The budget.
I said
not
that
set,
incorrectly.
yeah.
And we
yeah.
haven't approved the budget yet,
Yeah,
so.
so this is just adjusting the totals to be
Right.
accurate
To
with
be
what
accurate.
his, yes, gotcha.
I'm
Cut them down.
motion that
So
we
they hadn't matched
adjust
our 144.
Dollar here, a dollar there.
whatever
Hey,
the
Jim made a
request is.
motion to.
Second.
You gotta let me finish talking sometimes, Kent.
No.
All right, now you can say it.
Go sit down there. We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Isn't it amazing? We got
All
a
them
dollar
things.
here and a dollar there. We got it correct.
Right, but we gotta read these into the minutes correctly, so that,
Well, you couldn't have read that back over.
no, but I was still trying to get it to where Deb could
You got
get it into her minutes properly.
You got it.
Yes.
Chickens.
Okay, Sheriff Burkhart.
Good morning.
You're going to donate the commissary to the county fund, aren't you?
I try to donate as much I can to things and purchase things. You should have in your packet a letter to request an addition to my commissary expenditure list. Following that statute that the sheriff and the council have to agree upon. And so I want to add onto that list costs related to performing actuarial studies for the Hancock County Police Retirement Benefit Plan. And the reason I want to do that is I want to do some studies, but I don't want it to, those studies cost money, and I don't want it to pull it from the fund.
Don't you already do this like once every couple of years or once a year? I know we did this when I was on the.
Well, depending on whether, well, this is a study to see if there's some changes can be made, you know, whether it's, decreasing the retirement age based off of what I'm seeing with the mental health and public safety. You know, there's just some other things, increasing death benefits, COLAs. So I want to be able to try to do some actuarial studies, but each one costs a certain amount of money to do. And so I just don't want to pay for it and pull it from the pension plan itself. I want to be paid for it separate. Do it that way. So that's why I want to do that.
Commissary. out of
Yes.
commissary.
You have sufficient funds in commissary. I
Absolutely.
presume, yeah.
He's got a lot.
And we
Absolutely.
don't have to vote, you just have to make notice to us.
Just have to make notice, they changed that, it's just got to be in the minutes that I did that, they don't require the resolutions any longer to do that, so I just need I guess,
Yep.
approval to have it in the minutes.
The record shall reflect.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Yep. Do we need a motion?
Probably so, just make a motion for the minutes to
Have a
approve.
second?
It's in there that
I'll
way.
second Jim's motion.
Okay, we have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you very much. Real quickly, I just want to tell Jim, I know there was a conversation at the Budget Committee meeting on the Level 6 formula. And we talk about that formula, that 1.2 million that we used to give for the Level 6 money.
Yeah.
The what now?
The Level 6 money that we used to get.
Oh, yeah.
The formula, I
Yeah,
just wanted to
yeah.
update. So,
Yeah.
so that money, so they go on a fiscal year. And so last year in 2024 in July, we got the 1.2.
Right.
Which runs all the way till June 30th of this year. So we got paid ahead. So now I start billing again, because they changed it. So I start billing in July of this year. And so I won't have any money in that fund. That's why there's nothing there, because we already received it last year. So we've done our first bill. We just sent it in, and it was for 75,000. And so I have no idea what it's going to be, but now we are billing back like we were before. So I just want to kind of let you
Well-
know.
On like this calendar year, do you have an estimate of what that will be?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an estimate
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Or
it'd be
is
great
it
if I did
just month to
75,000 each month, but I don't know
this
what
month
it's.
to month?
Yeah, it's going to be month to month. I mean, I don't know. It
Okay.
could change. So, I mean, if you take 75,000, if it was going to be that every month, okay, maybe you could figure off that, but I don't know that it's going to be that.
Because it's about nights stayed by level 6 inmates.
Right. It's how often that's how many level 6s we have in our facility that don't go to DOC. And then we're retaining them here because they changed where the judges can now sentence them back to the county versus sending them all to DOC. So if they stay here the entire time, we bill for the entire time.
The rate went from what to what?
So the per diem went to $42 from $37.50. $42 a day to 30, it was $37.50, now it's 42.
Oh, it went up? I thought we were talking about losing level 6 money.
No.
The rate
So the rate changed.
per day rate.
Yeah, back in 15, when the state couldn't pay for it all, they went to a formula, and they based it off of, I think, I don't know, 17, 18 year, I can't remember what year they based it off of, but they basically just said, hey, we're going to pay you this flat fee.
Okay.
And they've been paying this flat fee for the last 3 or 4 years. Well, now that's changed, and so now we went back to the billing process.
Okay.
And so that billing goes back, now it's the $42 a day, which it's going to decrease what our normal was.
Yes,
Because now we're billing direct off what we had.
But the rate itself didn't go down per
No, the
day.
rate actually went up, so it went from $37.50 to $42.
And if you're 75,000 a month, why, you'll be pretty good.
If that's what it would stay. Now, I can't guarantee that, but I know in July, I just signed the first claim, and it was for 75.
Okay,
Very good.
all right.
Just so you know.
Can you just hold level 6 people a little bit longer?
Oh, that's up to the judges. It's up to the judges whether I hold them here or whether they go to DOC, and so,
I know,
yeah.
I'm being physical.
I know. All right. Okay, just,
Right,
thanks.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Okay, we have next on the agenda Morgan with the community correction. Good morning. We'd had some issues with getting the numbers to fall in line with what we thought they should be for the budget, and we'd asked you to work with the auditor and get a new 144 submitted, and that you both agree on the numbers that are in the 144.
Yeah.
Deb, did you guys do that?
We did, we discussed everything, and then I got it 144 last night. I thought I had printed that off and brought it down here, but I don't see it.
We have it. We can make it. We can make more
Did you bring
copies.
copies
Yeah, we
of
have
it?
it.
We'll make copies. My explanation, I think Morgan's might be a little bit different, but I'm gonna let her explain to you.
No, it's okay. You,
So what I had found is, you guys had previously said that she could disperse some of her you had previously discussed that she could disperse one of her employees that she was not going to bring in at the higher amount. So she took $5,000 from there and dispersed it throughout her team. And then you had authorized $1,000 per 6 case managers to disperse throughout, which kind of raised that before she applied the 3%. So our calculations were good, other than the fact that it wasn't communicated from my office to Morgan Well that she was different. She couldn't use any of that disbursement from that one employee. So she had applied that to hers, then did the 3%, making it look like 4%. And I explained to her that we had to remove ourselves from that.
yeah, because what we basically did was we did everyone's, and then the 3% on everyone's, and then every single person, including myself, we did the same raise for. And so after we talked to Deb, we fixed that. So I think we're good now.
So I mean, now that's the question that I had. If your intent was for her to do that disbursement, apply that $1,000, then do the 3% and fix her salary, then we're good. If that was not your intent, then you guys need to have that discussion.
So the $6,000 was granted after the budget was established for 2025. So what we saw in the budget book did not include the $6,000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that was the same with that extra salary, because we added that position in September. So it was after those budget hearings. So that extra salary wasn't in your budget books either, because it happened after the fact. So we believe, after meeting with Deb, that everything is correct at this point.
And I haven't looked at this 144, but this was the only, because you pay out of two
yeah.
funds, and this is the only one that you changed.
Correct.
Right, yeah, this is only for Fund 1122.
That's because the grant wasn't changed at all. It couldn't be changed. And we talked about that at the very first hearing. So the only changes were to this account.
And I just want to ask something else. Now, don't you rotate like every other year between
do.
grants? So sometimes it'll look like it's a lot higher when it wasn't. It's just it wasn't paid out of that particular fund the previous
Yeah,
year.
we used to have to send back anything that wasn't used, we used to have to send it back, but now what they do is they keep it in that account and we rotate every other year, different accounts, and then whatever was left over, they basically just decrease it from our grant amount that year to make it equal. So that's why every other year it's gonna show a zero.
What, I just took whatever this was that you gave us, and I corrected the executive director to 3%,
That's what we did, yeah.
and then I just took the rest, added it up, comes to 421,630, did 3%, and I came up with 438,630. So I don't know about whether that adds up to that or not, but
And that's
just as
without
simple.
those changes that you had said that she could make before that, with that extra basically $11,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's just in how you want to look at it. This is what we came up with. But again, did you want her to do those things before she added that 3% or not? That's where the discrepancies are.
You know, 3% on $6,000 is $180 gross dollars a year across 6 humans, so I'm flexible on not getting in the weeds on that.
Well, I was hoping we'd have just a clear path that your numbers and any numbers that were ran through us would match up and
We
then
do, we do. I mean, that's what we met with Deb on, and Deb said that they do, so we do have that.
It depends on if you add that extra money in or
That
not, and I don't
6,000.
know how else to explain that, and that's up to you guys to do what you want to do there.
I would be in favor, I mean, I think everybody recalls, she came in, we talked about having degrees and higher educational attainment for some of the consulting functions they do with their clients. They moved those funds, across those folks, reducing the deputy director also to a case manager. Whether or not someone wants to argue that 3% should or shouldn't have been applied to that 6,000, I mean, I'm open to, maybe it shouldn't have been, I'm open to hearing that, but again, it's $180 across 6 people, so.
We were told that first time.
I'm thinking that the 3% would be applied to the 6,000.
Okay.
But I would think also that $1,000 had been added into that salary, so then we could come up with a grand total times 3, like Jim was alluding. So, I don't know. You're saying that the Fund 9122, their budget was approved as presented?
Well, it had to be because it was the grant. We couldn't make changes to the grant, which is what we discussed at the first budget hearing. So all of the changes were just made to the one fund, not the other.
1122.
Yeah.
So it may look like it's a bigger increase, but it's because the increase is all hitting the one fund, but it also is the percentage is being applied to another fund that can't increase.
Correct.
I would like to adjust or make sure I don't know on here, the part-time monies was at 25,000, and if you add 3% that, the total for 2026.
We didn't add 3% to the part-time.
Let me finish, please.
BFD.
That the total would be 25,750
Make a motion
for the
also.
part-time monies that would be with the 3%. That's, as I recall it being listed on the
527,005.
budget book.
Would you entertain a motion, or there's still questions?
Does anyone have any questions? Or do you guys understand it?
Agreed with the 180, just like what you said. I mean, it's over.
Yeah, if that's the only problem that we have is the $180, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus the 3%, well, that is the 3%. But beyond that, do all the other numbers line up, I guess is my question.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah,
numbers
I
to
wasn't
line up.
aware about
Yeah,
the
if
6,000.
you tell me 3%, that's what it'll be in our.
Now, oh, sorry, real quick, that one is, mine's through it, that should be 8750, right? And that includes- Let me just
The-
clarify, the total,
Yeah, it's 521, 821.
is it the 521, 828,
That is with the 3%. Your 2026 salary column is the column that we're looking at with the exception of Morgan's salary. That needs to go down to the 3%.
Okay, but the 2026 salary column, other than
527.
Morgan's number, the other numbers, if we're okay with the percentage on top, then those numbers you're saying are right.
Yes, the
And-
527 number.
Deb, mine has been fixed on this that just got passed out.
Yes.
It's been fixed on that. It's correct.
Yeah, we were just putting everything
don't
side by side. I
Okay.
think you saw that.
I don't
Okay.
have that one, I don't know if I passed.
Didn't get that?
We just, that just got passed down to you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I do, that's the only half.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the clearest way to make my motion. So, so the 520, Deb, you're saying the 527,005 number is correct, other than needing to reduce the top line
To the
87. Okay, so I'll make a motion then that we approve the 2026 salary request as presented, with the exception of reducing Morgan's top line item from 88,375 to 87,550.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Did we address the part-time help at the budget hearing, or do we need to address that now?
I know we didn't discuss it.
Okay, I would just want to see that increase by the 3% as well, because that's what we tell everybody else to do.
Okay.
So if we can have a motion on that, it should be, part-time help for 2025 was 25,000, plus 3% would be 25,750.
Is that Fund 1122?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the part-time line item in the Fund 1122 by 3% increase.
Robin's been so quiet.
Second?
Time for
I'm
Robin to
thinking.
speak. Don't push, she'll get there.
Just count yourself lucky.
Do I have a second?
I'm listening.
I did.
Yeah.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So maybe next year we can make this a little easier for everybody. You're welcome.
Take a break.
You need a break?
Yeah.
We have a request for a break.
All those in
Break.
All motion.
I got a bond ordinance here.
You don't think we broke enough?
Okay, did anybody say they wanted a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Somebody made that request. yes.
I've seen heads going like
I'll
this.
second that.
Okay, everybody beat it.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Sheriff.
Oh, happy birthday. Should we sing? Should we sing to the sheriff?
Well, somebody that can carry a tune can sing it. I can't carry a tune.
Me either.
I mean, I'm awful.
Having fun.
We strain mightily over
We talked about
We'll
yesterday.
get started.
The,
At 10:15, we were supposed to
had
meet
asked,
with
I
Morgan
believe,
Walker, or
whether-
excuse me, 10:30. Or am I? 10:15, I was right the first time. 10:15, Dee Dee Allender for an employee discussion. I got a call this morning from Bill Spalding asking us to remove it from the agenda, that they were going to have some further discussion before they make their recommendation, so
Yes.
that's not here for now. And now we're ready for, I was looking for you. I couldn't see your head. Oh, I didn't. I just didn't. I was like, I hadn't seen you. No, Lisa, I know your
Yeah,
name.
we can't
I
see
did-
over
I
that.
can't, I couldn't even see you.
Good morning.
Didn't know she was out there either.
I am here about your general obligation bonds. So you're one of your very straightforward, it's not a controlled project, so you're not subject to petition, remonstrance, or referendum. It does count against your debt limit, but you're well below your constitutional debt limit, so there's no real extra procedures that we have to do for this. So I did hand out a new timetable. The only changes are with respect to the notice of additional appropriation. I had it to be delivered today, but your meeting's not till September 10th, so it can be delivered next week to be published on the 27th. My question will be, the last time I had a additional appropriation hearing, you guys wanted me to put 9:30 in the notice, so I don't know what time you want me to put. I can put 8:30 and it can be sometime after that, or I can set it for a time. So that's the only question I have on that.
And I'm fine however you guys want to do it, because you can go later, just not earlier.
Okay, this is the September 10th meeting we're talking about.
Correct.
I would say whatever, I don't know if they've already started adding things to our agenda for, I don't know what time slot would be.
Yeah.
You can tell
we're
me
good.
after.
We
I mean, I
can do
can email you.
9:30 and we can change some things around if we need to.
Okay.
Okay.
9:30, and then we will deliver that notice then for you, and
Thank
I'll
you.
copy you and Deborah. 9:30, okay. So today, we're only asking for introduction of two ordinances. I don't know if you have ordinance numbers. The first would be the bond ordinance, thicker, not too thick, actually, thicker document. Pages 2 and 3 are the main sections of this ordinance. They are the maximum parameters that we were provided by Financial Solutions Group. So the bond size is not to exceed 6.5 million. Of course, you can come down from that before you do an actual sale of the bonds. At the bottom of that page, you'll see maximum interest rate, page 2, section 1. We're looking at 4.5% maximum interest rate. Hopefully, we get lower than that based on whenever the sale is not to occur until mid to late October. So I would expect rates have dropped by then, but we don't know yet. So 4.5 is the maximum, though.
Is there an ordinance number?
2025-8.
C, okay. And then at the top of the next page, page 3, you will see that it is to mature no later than 12 years. I think the amortization schedule Greg has shown you is intended to be 10 years, but it's got one payment that goes beyond 10 years. So I just put maximum of 12 so that they can play around with that depending on where we are at the time of the sale, and it may end up being 10 and a half years or something like that. So maximum of 12. Callable after 10 years, which is your normal protection period for a bond purchaser. So that helps give us the best interest rates. And you may recall that we did have you adopt a reimbursement resolution before you started providing funds on the fairgrounds. And the fairgrounds, you'll see Exhibit A on this ordinance has the list from the Board of Commissioners. I said one or more of these projects so that you don't have to do all of them. And I also added just all the things that go and are related to those projects that you find you're needing for those projects. So the specific projects are there, but we have a little bit of flexibility with respect to each of those. But you would be able to reimburse yourselves for expenditures that you made already to the fairgrounds, if you choose to do that. So that's flexibility. If you choose not to do that, then maybe your bond size that you actually sell is lower than the 6.5. But Obviously, again, we're here to provide you with the flexibility to make those budget decisions.
I mean, now that it's all in place, I believed it was the reimburse.
Yeah.
That was the discussion, for sure. And we put everything in place for you to be able to do that. So that is the bond ordinance. And then would the additional appropriation ordinance be 2025-8D, or, I don't know how your numbering goes. Okay. So then we're just introducing the additional appropriation ordinance. I don't know if it's in your packet. It's one page.
That's in there.
All it's doing is setting the date for the hearing, September 10th at 9:30, for a maximum appropriation not to exceed 6.5 million.
Lisa, could I just check for clarification? So I have two that need numbers, is that correct? Or are you saying three?
No,
Two, okay, so the first one that we did assign the number for, was it this one, or?
It was the bond ordinance.
It was the bond orders, which we don't have because they're only introduced.
They're only introducing, yes.
8 what?
Yeah, we've got both of them.
Yeah, so that is 2025.
C.
8C, okay, and this one
that's
would be,
8D.
yes. I had them backwards, thank you.
So those are just two straightforward ordinances that we just want you to introduce, and then we will have the public hearing at September 10 meeting and hopefully adopt both ordinances.
Lisa, one question. So one item mentioned specifically in the GO bond, which is the Lucas devices. Given the quote, the price on those was a guaranteed price
Okay.
through a certain date that is likely to fall very close to the sale of this bond.
Okay.
Is there any flexibility?
You can pay
Have to
for
wait-
it ahead of time and then reimburse
Do
yourself.
these funds post, or is there a 30-day window by which you could without a resolution for reimbursement?
You've already adopted the resolution. So we didn't specify the resolution that you could only reimburse for the fairgrounds.
Okay. It did say,
I think it's broad for anything that you expend.
okay,
Make that into part of the reimbursements.
okay, I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
because it's so close in timing.
Gotcha.
And we're not signing these today since we're just introducing them.
So it's just a motion to introduce?
Yes.
Shall they be separate?
And move them to, yeah, whatever.
Motions?
I think so.
Okay.
It's
I'll start with a motion to introduce general obligation bond ordinance number 2025-8C.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2025-8D.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Perfect. Thank you. I will see you on September 10th.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
And that is the end of our time slotted requests. Auditor business, do you have anything, Deb?
I do not have any auditor business.
Okay, this is going to be our next, well,
Oh, yeah.
It's on there specifically.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Okay.
which one are you alluding to?
The 27th pay.
Just keep
Okay,
it, we're
let's
going
go
down the
ahead,
list.
let's
Go
just
down
go
the-
ahead and discuss that right now then.
Yes, so Deb and I talked, I know she's had a lot of conversations about the 27th pay that we've realized falls based on the calendar year in 2026. I suggested that we switch to being paid twice a month, changing payroll to twice a month, the 15th and the last business day of the month. That would eliminate that issue perpetually. It wouldn't cost any more money than what we already agreed to budget for the next calendar year. Trying to give everybody a 27th extra paycheck is $850,000. So I think it makes sense to just change to being twice a month.
Which we can probably do, but I believe State Board of Accounts, they recommend the 26 pays, and that's why we've always done it.
They do recommend that. I have had an opportunity to speak with other counties, and no one does that just because of the complexity. And there are there's times that people would go 3 weeks without a paycheck, and then you're not compliant with the labor law for the 10 hours. of making sure that they're paid within 10 days of overtime. And that's something that Scott would have to dive into. I'm not a legal expert in any way. I know Sherry's done some calculations based on FSG's recommendation. So I did hand that out, so you all have this sheet. But Sherry, did you want to talk to the twice a month versus, she's got some, this is Sherry Cole. She's one of my payroll girls, and she actually was there when we actually did the benefits and a lot of the HR. So she has some expert knowledge in this area.
Good morning.
Good morning. She put a pretty
Um,
a title on you there.
She also worked for Disney. She did their payroll, so she's good.
Yeah, she did payroll for Disney, so.
Good.
If we pay 26 pays as we do now, we pay in arrears. Doing 24 pays is going to bring us up to pay current, which means there are going to be weeks where I have to estimate how much an hourly employee is going to work and their overtime and pay them before they've actually worked it. So it brings in an element that I would suggest we not get into if possible, because right now we're paying in arrears, we're paying what's correct, and we don't have any questions about whether or not it's been worked.
Yeah, I agree with that.
State Board of Accounts does not let us pay in
Not
advance.
something we should do.
Doesn't know us back
Right.
then.
What would that would be under what, by paying twice monthly?
Because you're paying about 15 days in that month at the first payroll, and then who knows how many days could be
Well, I
14
wasn't
to
referring
17.
to changing anything about the way hourly people are paid. I'm talking only about salaried employees. And perhaps there are rules I'm not aware of that pertain to government, but every international publicly traded brokerage firm that I ever worked at paid twice a month. And I know they can't all be violating labor law unless there's specific rules for Indiana or, huh?
That's not an issue.
Yeah,
not an
it's,
issue.
these are just the things that we've been being told, and I'm not an attorney, so I would defer to Scott. State Board of Accounts says you can do it, but it's gonna be extremely difficult, and there are laws that you have to make sure that you navigate through those payrolls.
Explain to me what's extremely difficult about dividing salaried employees.
I'm gonna let her explain that. I don't know, are we dividing them?
Well, if you.
Well, yeah, it's
when
just-
you're
But we have both
salaried
types of
and
employees.
hourly, are you saying they'd be paid on two different timetables?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the hourly, I don't really care
we
how
can't
you
do that.
decide.
We
So
don't
you
have
can't-
the
that's- I mean,
manpower.
We can't do that. We can't
No.
have, that'd be payroll going forever. I mean.
We
it just-
wouldn't have the
yeah.
manpower
They'd have
to
to be-
do
no.
payroll
two
consistently
different
every
payrolls.
Just
week.
Yeah.
get to hire another person.
Instead of having one payroll
Well,
system, we'd have
how
to have
does the
two.
rest of the world do? Every company except one that I've worked for paid twice a month.
I don't know if it's just because of government restrictions that us being a government office, I don't know. I think my daughter gets paid.
I think it comes down to those being salaried employees that are exempt, that are paid twice a month. So a salaried employee is going to make the same amount
Yeah.
on the 15th and the 20th. An hourly employee is always going to be different.
Right.
Because the days they work are different.
But
And
you're
we
always
do-
gonna have to do some manual data entry on that because they are hourly and they may or may not work the same amount of hours each week. So they're always,
Yes, ma'am, but we have actual data of what they worked, as opposed to my estimating on Thursday that Joe worked 8 hours and Joe pulled a 12-hour shift
would
with
be a
overtime.
nightmare.
I don't think
Now I
that
have
would
to-
ever be appropriate to estimate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been through this twice, and we found out that the hourly is really the issue. And-
Yes.
But we can't have two different sets of.
Right.
well, in the absence of just paying a salary twice a month, like I was always accustomed to, then people's checks are just gonna go down, in my opinion, on the 27th pay. I mean, just saying, well, because the way the calendar falls, we're gonna give you an extra paycheck that costs taxpayers almost an extra $1 million a year, to me is not an option. So when you divide their salaries by 27 pays, even though they got a raise, it will appear that their pay went down next year. And as hard as we try to communicate that their pay is what they think it is, and it's just divided by more, you know, most people think paycheck to paycheck, and it will feel like their pay went down. And I'm okay with that too. I don't consider coming off an extra $850,000 for a 27th pay as an option whatsoever.
A suggestion that was made that I was told, though, that is something to think about, is that we do find a 27th pay. And I think it was around $850,000 to do that, and then possibly caveat that with understanding there will not be any raises for the next.
Well,
that'd be a pay cut the following year if you did that. We'll become the most notorious gang of 7 of all time. No, you can't do that. You
Well,
know.
there are counties that are doing pay cuts
Yeah.
this year because of SB1, but we do have, if you guys, could Sherry walk
I
you
don't see
through?
that, how's that a?
Could Sherry?
Because you're going to go from 26
To 27
to
for that 1
27,
year.
and then next year you only get 26 of those.
Yeah.
So that's a pay cut of a whole paycheck.
May I suggest that there is
Yeah,
another
would
way
you,
to look
Sherry?
at the
Okay,
800?
she's got a suggestion.
Thank you.
So this year, right now, you approved 3% over what we're spending this year, which is $653,000. This is on that sheet. If we did an extra pay, it would be $838,000. So it's a $184,000 decision versus an $800,000 decision, because you've already decided you want to do 3% over what we got this year.
when I had inquired
So
what the
eliminate everybody's
excess
raise.
cost of a 27th payroll would be,
Did all that work for nothing.
It
Was
would be
eight-
the 838.
But
But
that's not
you've already
counting.
approved 653, thinking we had 26 payrolls. Because you approved 3% over what we're doing this year. So you had that 650 plus set aside, and I'm saying make it 800 plus and do 27 pays.
And the raise is all incorporated in
And
that
the raise,
27
and they're
pay.
one extra pay,
That makes sense.
and then moving forward, then you do what you want, because this won't happen again until 2037.
but I do agree, you know, these numbers compound. The thing about giving raises each year in percentages is the next year you're giving that percent on top of the extra percent that you did the year before and the year before and the year before. So it's just how investments accumulate. You know, if I put in $100 today, I'm making interest on that, and then next year I'm making interest on my $100 plus my interest, and that's what happens with raises. And so if we did a 27th pay after we've already agreed that 3%, we've held feet to the fire in July on 3%, then I don't think we go over that now and then we compound on top of that with a raise next year. Like Mary said, I mean, if we did a 27th pay, are we saying no raises next year?
I'm going to say, Debbie, what are most of the counties doing? Everybody runs into this.
There's, the majority of the counties either doing the 27th pay or they're just carrying it out over 27 pays.
And this would not be a pay increase. I would make the same amount every 2 weeks as I'm making this year. I just get one more check.
Right.
So then the next year, you'd be looking at my rate and saying, are you going to give a percentage?
But I guess the thing is, when you and I talked, I said, yeah, if we do the 27 pay, it's going to be another $800 and some $1,000. Well, I wasn't thinking about what Sherry just said. We've already agreed to increase that by 600 and some thousand at 3%. You add FSG's recommendation was to just go ahead and extend that to the 3.85, which is an additional 184. So that's really all we're talking outside of what you've already decided for July. So that's what we've got, but that's what the counties are doing. They're either carrying that out over the 27 pays, or they are making sure that people are paid on that
I don't want to
27.
do anything that reduces their check that they're already used to getting. If we extend this out over 27.
Yeah, I agree, because there's people out there that live check to check, and it won't help them if they get the money at the end of the year, keeping their lights on and, you know, everything going with their house, their kids and everything all year long if they're getting less money.
Well, there's 3 months where you get a whole extra paycheck is the whole problem with bi-week. So most people's expenditures are monthly. Your auto insurance is monthly, your mortgage is monthly.
But they don't pay them all monthly. They pay them, there could be, those spread over 4 weeks, 4 Fridays or 4 whatever. Your light bill and your gas bill and your mortgage and car bills all don't come due at the end of the month. They come sporadically through the month. And with that, they need to have that consistent income.
I see what you're saying, but, you know, kind of as she said, you're talking about the same amount of dollars a year. Now, if you don't budget them appropriately, then I also don't want checks to go down. I don't understand how so many people do twice a month pay in corporate America, and it's impossible.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's going to be very difficult, to be honest. And that was my idea. I thought that would be a perfect solution until you dig into it and logistics and all of the different ways that we pay people. We have many more people that are salary and hourly than we do exempt. And the exempt people, that works well for them.
So on salaries, let's say we decide to allocate 3.85% due the 27th pay. Their salary in the salary ordinance will go up by 3.85% this year, not by 3%.
That's correct.
Correct. And so next year when we do a raise, we're doing a raise on top, we're raising on a 3.85% raise, not just a 3% raise.
That's
That's
correct.
my point.
I get it.
We are agreeing at the last minute to almost a whole extra % of raise that we said was not merited based on inflation data and other factors, just for a logistical issue, and then that compounds forever.
Yeah,
So
I
does
hate to
CPI.
see people
We don't have
though.
a good
So does the cost of
instant
living
institutional
compounds forever.
memory.
It's not a
You go a year
one-time
from
shot.
now,
Yeah, I
So-
don't go with what, yeah.
Now,
I think we
what
gotta
you're,
go the simplest way. Make it so that going forward, it's set, and we don't have to remember, 7 years from now, we've gotta do something again.
So you're saying
think we
do the
need to-
pay,
I don't think you can
Twice a
change
month?
that.
Well, and it's not
No,
the
you
employee's
could-
fault that
If you go
this
to,
happens.
if you go to two, if
No,
you
but we're
go
talking
to
about
two
salary
pays a
people.
month, that, done.
Yeah,
The hourly is gonna benefit, hourly people are gonna benefit from having that 27th pay, they're gonna get 27 pays, so we're gonna have that added cost. It's the salary people where we say, here's your yearly salary, that's what we set it at, I don't look at weekly, I hope you don't look at
I don't care if
weekly.
you pay it once a month,
Yeah,
4 times
it's
a month, to me,
yearly.
that doesn't
I
matter.
don't care if I pay it at the end of the year, it's yearly. And so what we do is we do it every 2 weeks. Well, if it's 27 weeks, then it's, your yearly salary is over 27 weeks. I think everybody that's paid salary would understand that. If you don't, then you don't understand what a salary is.
the problem is that it will show on their biweekly check, a reduction.
Right, it's like, we took one person
year.
from the auditor's
Yes, just
office, it'd be
that year.
$100 less.
Just for that year.
Yeah, just for that year, but I think it's
They'll get
27%.
another paycheck instead of, it'll just be spread out to another paycheck.
So they'll lose the thought of having the raise, and there may be a little bit extra taken out just to accommodate that 27th pay, correct? That they take the, yeah.
What, I didn't understand the last part.
If we push all of the raise, the 3% to the 27th pay, so it looks like you're not getting a raise this year, but you will be getting it, but it's a 27th pay. But it may also have to soak into what they're currently being paid to accommodate the total as a whole.
Right. Their deductions may change because of the
Sherry?
raise is what.
Sherry, how long will, if we do it that way, how long will somebody go between paychecks? Will it be longer?
If we did the 24 pays? Yes.
You know how
It
we
But
did
your
it last
checks
time?
go up though, because
was
you're
here, I
going
don't
from
remember.
26
I was
pays
an
to
assessor,
24
and
pays.
I don't remember how we did it.
So your
Thought of
checks
me,
all
but I
go
don't.
up, and you get them twice a month
Out of food and
consistently.
beverage.
That's, so one thing I
Oh, she
want to
said
point
because we've
out,
already
bigger
allocated
picture, is
600,000
we
above
have
3%.
preliminarily approved a budget that is $1 million some dollars more than last year. And Greg Garitas sat here last week and said, we'll be getting $36,000 more in income than last year. So we've already approved preliminarily a budget that is $1 million some dollars extra over last year when we don't expect to get any new revenue.
And we
in
have
2026.
$21 million sitting in the general fund.
And that's fine. And that's
21
gonna
million.
compound against, that's gonna amortize against us when we have a budget that exceeds revenues and we keep raising it each year. That will deplete that unless revenues unexpectedly go up.
From what I remember 7 years ago, we had the same discussion, same arguments. We tried to figure out how to change it. We did all that. I think they do it every 7 years. It's very sticky. We paid for it. Took money either out of rainy day or food and beverage, and paid for it.
Wasn't rainy day, I'm
But,
sure.
but the problem with that is is the SB1, and next year they'd be looking at a pay cut, most likely. At the best, a pay freeze.
It would
And
be the
so
worst.
that's,
How would it be a pay cut?
well, because you're giving them 27 pays, right? And next year you can only give them 26. So if you say, okay, we're not going to raise it any, it's a pay cut. People on salary will get a pay cut. Hourly people don't get pay cut. They'll be paid, that doesn't change for them. It's the people that are salaried would all of a sudden see a pay cut. They're gonna, and you know they're going to go crazy at us.
I don't.
Well, if you're giving them a 3.85% raise, whether they get it then or not, I mean, that's still they still have that raise. But now, could we, and I don't know, instead of raising, so you continue to compound on that, do call it a stipend for the 27th
Yeah, I was
pay?
gonna say, I know, like he talked about, I think maybe we did do, they
That's
came
what we
up with
did.
the 27 out of something else.
We
like
did.
food
We
and
paid
beverage
for it
or
all at one
something.
time. It was the only clean way we could think to do it 7 years ago. We did, and if it's a stipend or if it's whatever. it
Then
is,
it's
it is.
not compounding like.
Right.
like
It
you
doesn't
said, for
screw
your
up
raises.
anything for another 7 years. Or whatever did you say the next one was?
I think it's it's every 11 years.
11
so,
years.
But if you go that route, correct me if I'm wrong, if you go that route, then it would be the $800 and some thousand that we're trying to give in
But
stipends,
if
right?
the
Because
next
we're not doing the
council forgets about it
3.85%
until
raise.
halfway through the year, and then
Because I did it twice.
why not fix it so nobody has to worry about it again?
I don't know if you can fix it like that.
If you go to 2 pays a month, if we can do that, it would.
Well, that's what I said. She said, how would you pay the hourly people on 2 pays a month?
Now, we did dive into this because I thought, I was thinking this was a great solution also. What did you find were going to be the potential problems with that, Sherry?
Well, it's the estimation of what people worked.
And we can't pay in advance.
I can't pay in advance, and also, and I'm not 100% sure of the code, but people would get paid more than 10 days after they've worked for that money. A salaried person knows, I'm going to get paid, I know what it is. An hourly person might have an issue waiting those 15 days to get another paycheck.
They have to wait more
It
often.
also, and this is, for the auditor's department, we would have to change allow payroll, we would have to change right stuff, it would have to all be reset. And then our payroll processing time is going to be shrunk. It's going to become more of, okay, what do we think these guys, what's their schedule? What are they going to do? How much are we going to pay? We pay them, and then if we overpay somebody, now we have to make that up the next time and
I
take
can't
that off.
support
It just
this at
feels
all.
very sloppy and hard to
No, I
follow
can't.
for even somebody that does it every week.
Okay, when we go on vacation or when we have people go on vacation, we have problems with the banks not being open because of holidays and things like that in my personal business, and we have to estimate. It sometimes takes us 2 or 3 weeks after to reconcile.
Yes.
Because we're guessing on overtime, we're guessing on things, and so it is very convoluted, and I only have 25 employees when we have to estimate. And so
I can't see
I
get
couldn't
behind
support
this
an
at all.
estimation
No.
scenario.
I'm having a hard time understanding
Legally, you
how,
wouldn't do that.
I'm having a hard time understanding how a whole extra pay period only costs $185,000.
Because we're adding the 3% that to get to the total of 830.
Right.
Well,
I
you've
was
already
only
added-
estimating
we've
you've
already
already thought
approved.
in your mind, we're going to give them 3%. We're already planning to spend that 650.
Right, but just think about it this way. 185,000 divided by 300, to be rough, employees is $616. So how, on average, for 2 weeks of pay is $616? I don't
It does,
understand.
we're not talking apples to apples,
No.
and that's my fault. I'm simply saying, you're right. I can agree with you. If you gave an extra pay, you're basically giving them a raise. I'm simply saying that by virtue of saying we're going to take 2025 and give them 3%, you've already settled into $650,000 expense. And by keeping everything the same, we'd only be adding another $184,000 to that $650 to pay that extra pay. Indeed, it would mean,
Stay exactly the same as they were
yes,
this year?
yes.
So nobody's pay goes up?
Nobody's pay goes up. They get one extra pay at the end of the year, and that's their raise.
We'll call it a stipend,
their
and that
raise.
way it's
That makes
can or cannot be rolled into the consideration of.
Which will feel like no
Next year's
raise to the
raise.
people that live paycheck to paycheck, yeah.
We have to resolve this today because Deb has to have this information to the state.
Or we have to have a special meeting if we need to check into anything, because, yeah, we have to have it advertised by August 31st.
Well, that, I mean, that psychologically and understanding wise, no, 500 people are not going to understand how come they didn't get a raise.
But twice a month pay, even if it is convoluted, if it's a possibility, everyone's checks go up from what they're used to getting, even at 3%.
But there is an Indiana code that, and this is the difference between the corporate world and government, and I think that you had asked that question earlier. We are prohibited from paying for anything in advance, and we would be paying for things in advance, their salary wise.
On hourly.
Yes.
Not salary, on hourly.
But to separate the two, they'd have to have two different payroll systems running all the time, and that's just not.
It would be both.
I think it
Keely.
might be both. We would be.
Because I was always paid for before, not ahead, not current. I was always paid for before twice a month. I mean, I just know.
Jane,
And
did you
I'm
want to
sure
add something
corporate
to
world
this
doesn't
conversation?
have that law that you can't be paid in advance. I mean, like I said, if we want to explore this and look into it legally, I'm okay with that, but it's going to require a special meeting and some time.
Jane, do you?
Every 2 weeks, I've been there, done that when I was auditor at one point in time, and it's a nightmare. The other thing that she's talking about, if you switch that way, it not only affects their office, it affects our office tremendously, because we're the ones who are handling all the mistakes if they're paid wrong and all that. We do all that. So you're affecting two offices when you make a change like that that's already set. So I would think maybe you might want to explore the stipend.
That would be my next, I mean, it wasn't my first choice, but it would be my next choice because
I don't see any other way.
Yeah, I don't think the.
I don't want to just raise salaries more at the last minute.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're raising salary.
Okay.
You're about to add
That's
another
exactly what
3%
we
salary.
But if you do it right, there's, like, her complaint is you do it once and then you've got a new system going. You don't have to do that. You're not gonna have
But
upsets
the argument,
monthly. You
Jim,
do it once.
against all of that is she can't pay in advance. So you cannot go to twice a month.
We don't pay in advance now.
Yeah,
do we?
it's not just.
I got hammered on paying in advance because it was.
We're paying in advance now.
And if you pay it as a stipend, can't you leave what you already have approved the same for the 26 pays? And then a stipend doesn't modify what that pay period pay on the 144s is, right?
Doesn't go on their salary.
I mean, it would, because it would be a stipend at the end of the year, so there's no recalculation at that point, right?
I don't understand the paying in advance. We don't do that now.
We did change from paying current to 2 weeks in arrears. Is there anybody that gets paid forward now?
We pay in arrears, that's how come we know how much,
We're not
how many
estimating.
hours were used. If you go to twice a month, you won't know until after after you've already made that payroll, how many hours were actually
Can't do
used.
that.
You can't do that.
Right.
And what
You
you're
would be
saying is if you
paying
change
the
it
same
once
way,
and
there'd
cause
just
more
be a
problems,
gap
then you have to live with that for 11 years. So you got 11 years of problems, or, and if you want to hire more people, because you're in a perpetual payroll problem at that point.
Well, I think it's a lose-lose situation
It
with
is.
every other option because I'm not in favor of just adding more percentage to the salary ordinance than what we just went through.
Right.
And so even if we were gonna absorb a one-time cost of a 27th pay, then I would look at one-time options and their checks do go down because the salary is now divided by 27 instead of 26. And even if you wanna make it up to them somewhere in a stipend, you know, like you said, psychologically.
Yeah,
people
no,
will feel like
it's
they
a
took a pay
no-win
cut.
situation if you make people's pay go down. And because because we're struggling to understand it ourselves. But it's not that the hours aren't there and the time isn't there. We're not making up this extra time, you know what I mean? It has to do with the leap year and that type of stuff that's causing these calendar issues, is causing this issue. So it's not that somebody's not working the extra time, you know what I'm saying?
Well, there's the same amount of days in every year, except a leap year, which is one day. I
But
mean,
after several years, that catches
So,
up. is what he's
so
trying to
that's
say.
why it takes 11 years for it to accumulate up. You know what I mean? You leap year and the amount of time.
11.
yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is exactly what we went through, and we said, okay, just a one-time stipend before,
So
and,
if we look
When
at
is it
stipend, what are you proposing as the stipend?
well, Robin, do you remember how and where that money came from before?
Well, to me, it's more of a question, not where it's funded from, but you would wait till the end of the year, right? You
Right,
wouldn't do it at
whenever
the
it-
beginning of
yeah.
a year, because it would take you all year to earn the 27th
You
pay.
can't do that.
And it would be at the end of the year in 2026, you would get a one-time check, but
We did it in January.
Yes, 7%.
7 years ago. We did it in January then, but
Upfront.
front. But
Do
you're
3.85.
right. I mean, I don't,
it would take you all year to earn the 27th paycheck.
either that or it was earned the year before and we didn't do it and we had to catch it up
yeah.
the next.
No, we did it at
Well,
the
you
correct
have
time, I
some
remember.
I think it's.
Yeah, the paycheck we're so concerned about is the last one of the year.
Okay,
Guys.
guys,
people.
Right.
what I've written down is so far two options, pay twice a month, which would be 24 pays, but the feedback we're getting from that is it just isn't going to work. So we ditched that one. And then I wrote down divide by 27 instead of 26, which would show a reduction in their biweekly salary, but there'd be 27 checks that catches what they're supposed to be getting. Is there a third option that I didn't write
Well, the
down?
third option would be the proposed plan per FSG, which is to keep it at 838. And then the fourth option would be to do a special stipend at the end that Kent's mentioning.
Okay, so special, and what was FSG?
FSG one is where they keep the rates, the salary's the same. And it's just, the raise is that you get a 27th check, which is a 3.85% raise.
So
instead of
that
3%.
is increasing
It's
to
increasing,
3.8% as opposed to 3%.
right. And then Kent's suggestion, my calculation comes about 6.9%, assuming the stipend is equal to an equal paycheck, would be a 6.9%
So
raise.
the 3.8%, which is our option 3 here, is going to be the $600,000 raise and then an additional $181,000.
Yes, it's, I think it's what's in red here, I believe.
Right. And the
It's
reason that-
184,000, so those,
But the reason that I'm saying the stipend is better than that is because then the next year when you give raises, you're not giving
That
raises
won't
off of
be on top of it,
3.8%, you're only
which
giving
what
raises
Julie
off
was
3%.
But,
Yeah, but the
you
problem
know,
with the stipend is it gives them a 7% raise, or
Well,
6
but can I ask, Kelly just
Are
had,
you saying a smaller stipend?
so that's, at the end, the stipend won't be a full paycheck.
Okay, so that's my question. It's a full
gonna be
paycheck.
0.8, it's gonna be
0.85?
0.85.
Oh, so I get a teeny paycheck in the
So you're,
27.
you get 27 paychecks, they're smaller than you're used to, and
Unless you're
in the year you
hourly,
get a
unless you're
bonus. Huh?
Unless you're hourly, then you will get that 27, because you worked out, it's based on your hours, it's not based,
Right, right.
yeah, hours completely
I
different.
have a quick question for Sherry, though, before we move on. You said you took an example of somebody in the auditor's office, and you said it'd be $100 less. Are you talking a pay?
She gave you, Robin.
$100 a pay.
But you're gonna have to hold
Yeah,
it for
it'd be
me, so I
great
can
if
read
you
it.
were 27.
You can't do it, though.
No?
That's, I mean, that.
Your salary, it's not.
I don't have one that's $100 less. The biweekly pay there, so in 2025, I'm at 1,604. If you just take what you've done and spread it over 27, I'm at 1,591. So that's really what, how much? $14 a paycheck. It's the communication and the explanation that's important if you go that route. For people to understand, I'm getting more money, I'm just getting it over more time.
and did the deductions go up for the employees' contributions this year?
The deductions for 2025 for healthcare went up,
We haven't
And
decided
we haven't decided this year, but it was anticipated we would bring it up too. So we're talking about what would be seen as 2 pay cuts at that point. Also, I'm listening to how the stipend or not a stipend, and if that's the decision that is made, that there's a stipend, my suggestion for the sanity of our payroll department would be to divide it across the 27 pays, like say my stipend, mine is $35 a pay period, so my stipend would be $35 on each pay that's stipend money, so then they don't have to change the pay records in December when they're trying to get the pay records ready for 2027
That makes
also.
more sense, because I was just telling Jim, the stipend isn't gonna be equal to a paycheck or anything. So they're gonna get less all year, and then at the end of the year, they're gonna get some little check.
So break the salary into the current salary we've set, break it into 27 weeks, and then figure out a stipend amount to give all the salaried employees. That will be broken up.
It'll
over the
vary
27
by
weeks.
employee based on their pay.
Because
Is there be a
because
percentage?
the department heads were allowed to
0.85.
decide
Or be 0.85%.
how much they could give those
Okay.
people.
Which would be, as usual, the people that get less money are gonna get even less, the people that are on the bottom of the pay scale.
Yeah, so the departments were allowed to spread out that 3% per what you gave them. So not everybody's getting a 3% raise. They may get a 2.5 or a 4, depending on what the department had decided. So, that's a concern to
That's
talk about.
department head's fault. not
Yeah,
ours.
Right, right. So
can't
your,
tie it
the
to the
base
raise.
salary amounts for everybody would be
Right.
that extra 0.85% to
Right, so
cover.
this deals with everybody. You can't tie this to the raise because the raise isn't
Not
congruent.
everybody got the raise.
Some people didn't get 3%, some people got 1.5.
The department
Zero.
got 3%, and
The
they can do
department.
Right,
whatever. Yeah.
right, so you can't tie this to the raise schedule.
But
You know
they
what I'm
would
saying?
still, yeah, we
But
still would
you can
need
take
to
everybody
make
and
them
increase
whole.
it 0.85.
If we do the stipend across
And
the
then
board
spread
for
it
the
out over
year,
the
that
year.
needs to be on the salary ordinance as well.
Yes.
The stipend set separate, so Deb
Yeah.
knows how to take it out for the next year's payroll.
And,
It'd be a line.
The hard part is just setting it up. It's the same pay every week for everybody.
yeah, I mean, how
For,
do you,
for them, once it's set up for their pay.
does your payroll allow you to go in and just say,
Well,
and
hourly's
add
not
a
the same.
stipend line outside of the salary equal to 0.85%?
Does it allow you to do percents on stipends?
Do an adjustment, we would program the adjustments.
Yeah, so they can put in the stipend, because they do that already with several other stipends. I mean, John's got a stipend for various things that they do. So they can program it in to where your main salary is coming out of here, but whatever that difference for the 27th pay would be is stipend money. And if we do that one time, when they're setting up the new salaries, that will say, that's more efficient and saves money in the long run, because we don't have comp time that we're paying the payroll department to get it all set up correctly.
I
You know what?
I'll make a motion that we do that, and you guys can let it die or whatever, that we set up a one-time stipend for 0.85 percent for all the employees, and do it at the beginning of the year in 2026, and handle it that way, so they don't have to, and, I mean, unless, I'm not understanding how the payroll system, our payroll system works.
Your motion includes part-time employees. Are you just saying, are you including those that they get a
No,
stipend too?
no, part-time people wouldn't.
Yeah, they
I'm
don't
doing
get
Hourly.
27.
hourly and salary.
When would you pay
So you
the
would say
stipend?
full-time, all full-time employees.
full-time
For your
employees.
motion.
I'm sorry,
Get accurate.
all full-time employees.
Yeah.
Are hourly only part-time?
The highway is hourly,
Yeah, the highway's hourly.
but they
Yeah, and
pretty
you-
much
So would
work.
they get a
Our full-
stipend?
yeah.
Would
We
they get a
got-
stipend
Yeah, they
then?
work 80 hours, huh?
They get a stipend then?
They
But they're
would,
hourly.
I mean, they
No.
would,
they would.
Because hourly,
they get paid hourly.
Well, you would need to make sure that the highway budget for salaries includes this 0.85% in the general, like overall, because their rate, their salary ordinance is published per hour. But so that he doesn't run out of money at the end of the year in his hourly line, he would need that extra
Well, we
money,
have
because they're gonna be paid for 80 hours extra.
We have several that work hourly, not just the highway.
That's, as far as full-time goes, that's the only one that, that it would affect for full-time.
hourly.
Everyone else is considered salary non-exempt.
So they're gonna get their extra money anyways, because they're gonna get 27 pays based on the hours they work.
Right. If his budget is short at the end of the year, I mean, there's still so many days in the year, you know, so his budget should be.
And I know they
And
got a
it may
big
not
raise.
be
We
short.
raised that
He may
big.
not be fully staffed the whole time, so he may not be short at the end of the year if
And
he's
he's
not fully
talking
staffed.
about not adding new projects and stuff with the grants, so, that's a motion on the floor, right?
That's my motion.
Can you read it out again, or do you want to hear it again, Deb?
Yeah, I'd
I
like to
do.
hear it again, and that way we can just make sure there isn't any last minute things that we need to ask in order to make sure it gets done.
Okay, so help me out with this again. Okay, that's full-time employees, the 0.85% set up at the stipend set up at the beginning of the year. Because it does vary between each employee, what it is. And then it just spread out through the year of 2026 only.
With the rest of their salaries spread over 27 weeks?
Yeah, so you're gonna do, are you saying you're gonna do it differently, one way with the hourly and one way with?
The hourly shouldn't matter. They're just getting paid for their
For the work
hours
they did.
worked.
Yeah.
Did that sound
I think
correct?
it does.
Kelly, or do you want
I
to?
mean, you
The
could look
only-
at it
I
like
need the
they got a
percentage.
3% raise and everybody else got 3.85 on a one-time basis, but
I mean, this is the only, for me, reducing people's pay is not gonna be, it's not gonna be something I wanna support.
That's,
Okay?
This isn't,
And this isn't adding another $1 million to the thing, or 850,000. This is adding a stipend that's less than that.
and I'm okay with that. I mean, it's still gonna be thankless because it's gonna look like they didn't get a raise because they're getting a whole extra paycheck, even when we make it right with the extra 0.85 stipend. It's gonna look like their pay is flat from 25 to 26
Okay.
because it's all in the extra
Yeah.
check.
I just
So-
wanna say something here, how I
No.
feel.
No.
It's 100 and,
No.
That's what they said. That's why the
No.
cost is only 180.
Well, no, they get the 3% raise that we've,
and then
that
the
we've
stipend
agreed
would
to.
be the
And the
0.85.
the stipend would be the
And
0.85.
that's to make sure they get the paycheck they're already getting.
Approximately, yes.
That's to
Yes.
keep their paychecks
Their
flat,
paycheck
but they get a
flat.
whole extra one.
That'll
For
be
bi-
27.
for
bi-weekly.
Yes.
So we will have spent however much, how much were raises supposed to cost and how much do they cost now? I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I'm with it. Out of all our options that we've talked about, if twice a month pay is not an option, the next thing I'm in favor of is the 0.85 ceasing at the end of 2026 and
Okay,
not
so
being part of the
let's
salary.
move forward then with Kent's motion,
So,
and
But their pay
sorry,
will
can
stay
I say
flat.
something else? So the information that Sherry received from FSG was the total payroll that she's paying biweekly and what it would be and what it would look like. So, that is where the 0.85% is coming. So I don't know if maybe the motion should be a little more general, like our biweekly pay is only going to go up 0.8, it's going to go up 3.85% for 2026. So then
it's
we
spread over
can,
27 pays.
All right, here, can I?
we can figure it
Can I make
out of
an
the-
amendment to motion, see if you guys
Okay.
oh,
like
wait a
it?
minute, can I say something,
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
feel about it?
Yeah.
It's 184,446.90 to make up that 27th pay. And, you know, we give money to everybody. All kinds of people come in here and they want money. And our employees are the biggest asset that we have. And I don't like any of the scenarios except the one of what we did before, I believe, was come up with the money. I mean, we have several areas we could come up with that. And we're punishing the employees because there's more pays this next year, and it's not their fault.
I don't think anybody's talking about not coming up with the 180. All these options we're talking about, other than going to the the twice a month pay, which we rolled out, everything else we're talking about coming up with the 184,000. But the point is that even in doing that, the paychecks that people get in their account each of those Fridays will be the same as they were this year. That's to get you to that point.
Even if we come up,
Everybody's shaking their head yes, Mary. Everybody's shaking their head yes.
even if we come up with 184,000.
If you take the 3%
That would
and that.
put me at, if you were to using myself as an example, if you were to increase my salary by 3.85%, that would put me even with where I am for 2025. So that means that even though you gave me a 3.85%,
But if the clerk back there gave somebody only a 1% raise, which I don't think
I
she
see what
did.
you're
yes,
saying.
Then you add 0.85, guess what? They're still not gonna get the same they get right now.
that is correct,
That is
yes.
cor- yes.
That-
Finan-
Yes, yeah.
So if we're concerned about how the impression and what the employees are going to feel, then it would be my suggestion to fund everybody's biweekly, what they're going to get for another paycheck in 2026. The salary ordinance would reflect that, but it would be under because it has to, right? It has to reflect what we're paying people annually. But it would be the employees would have the understanding that this is like my $3,000, that would be my 27th pay, is only for 2026, is going to be, from where we pull it funding wise, we want to make sure that it's less cumbersome for the payroll department. But it would be, then I would feel like I got a raise, but I would know that my annual salary is $84,700 or whatever it is for next year. And that's where my raise would be from for 2026 or 2027, if you choose to do raises in 2027.
Okay, I'm going to throw a wrench in the system here. I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Yeah, I think we need to start
Because
over.
for one thing, I actually think it all goes back to what we did, Robin, before. The cleanest way to do it is just to fund the 27th stupid
Your
pay.
payroll was probably half.
It was
payroll
450 to 500,000.
And now it's gonna be.
Back then.
What's it going to be in 26?
But
Look, one payroll is
give everybody a 7%
$840,000.
yeah,
You're
I know.
talking,
Either
to
that or you
just
take
throw
the
a
raise away from
27th check is $840,000.
Why can't we go ahead with moving forward with the 3% raise, and we give that to the employees for 26 pays? And then we still have that 27th pay lingering. It doesn't have to be equal to a paycheck. Why can't we just say that 27th pay will be
A stipend of
0.85% stipend based on what their last paycheck was?
And that's the only issue with that is that because the paycheck falls on December 31st, people then have to wait until January 14th to get their next paycheck. So they're still getting paid every 2 weeks. So if you don't keep it equal over 2 weeks, then their budgeting goes
That was
haywire.
just an extra check.
But
No, it's not.
It's not an
It's
extra check.
it's a time thing.
yeah, but I'm saying our best case scenario is we throw another $185,000 at this and people get the same check they got in 2025.
So,
Plus the 3%.
No, that
No.
includes. You've
No,
already
it
eaten
takes-
up the 3%.
It takes it away from them.
check.
It takes the raise away from them, but they end up with one more check than they normally would.
Right.
That would be considered maybe their
Because
bonus.
their last check
They get
comes
it
on
the
the
year
very
before,
last
though.
freaking day.
So on the last check.
And then the next year, you could evaluate their biweekly
which is when most people
pay
need the
and
money
set
too.
the
by the way.
hourly-
It wouldn't change.
Right up to Christmas.
1,000?
And
Oh, we're going to give them 3%
remind me again
on
with the
1,000
Auditor
for 26
Association,
days.
what most
Yes.
counties have reported back that they're going to do?
I've had they're just paying it and they're spreading out whatever they've decided for raises across 27 pays. The majority of them are paying out. I do have a couple of counties that because of SB1, they've told me that they're cutting pay. And they're terrified, the auditor's terrified that they're gonna be losing a lot of employees. So, but no one, I mean, everybody unfortunately hits their term maybe one time in 2-year terms, and then it's a cycle.
I agree with Kim.
What are you saying about how you did it last? Well, you're saying to come up with a whole
We
nother
paid,
last.
we just paid it.
That's
They're doing
almost
a
$1
7%
million.
raise.
I understand.
They're doing a 7% raise.
It is. If you want them to get the 3% raise on their check all year, and then also get a 27th paycheck, it's $838,000 more dollars.
Not $1 million.
838,000 is getting pretty close to $1 million.
Well,
They
I know,
won't do
but
it again for 11
that's the
years.
two options we have. At
Yeah.
least we've narrowed it to two.
And we have $21
Where
million sitting in the bank.
they basically get what they got last year, but they get one additional pay at the very last day of the year. That's your option. Or we just fund a whole nother pay. And you give them their 3% increase like we promised them, and they just get a whole nother pay. That's the two options that we're faced with.
Well,
Let's put it to a vote. Let's eliminate one of them or not.
Will
So
somebody
kids,
make an
all right,
option?
I'll
for
make
it?
a motion based off FSG's proposed plan to move forward with the middle column that includes the current budget with 3% increase as a salary divided over the 27 pays, which totaled 22,450,218. And then I propose dividing across the pays a stipend equal to the difference between that and the total of the third column.
I don't think this is going to be a very clean motion.
I mean,
You
it's
need to
math.
Do your
It's-
math and start again.
It's math. It's approving total payroll over 27 pays of 22,452,218 and appropriating another 184,447 to be divided as a stipend on a one-year basis only, up for the 27th pay difference.
Do we have a second?
Just summarize that again.
It is complicated.
Yeah, I make
Okay.
a motion that we move forward with the 3% increase that we previously decided on
26.
for 2026, which is 22,452,218.
And that's divided over how many pays?
For 27 pays.
Okay.
With an additional 184,447 to as stipend funds throughout 2026 across the 2027 pays. In 2026 across the 27 pays.
I followed all, except the stipend. Why even have this stipend? Is that to?
Well, that's just this number that he says the difference.
I know,
Next year, they won't get a
but that
raise on that
brings
part.
it up to where they don't see a reduction.
Well,
In that last pay.
that evens out their paychecks across 27 pays.
Yeah, that's not,
If we take the 3% increase over 27 pays, it's not going to be 22.
that's not the same amount. If you look at the
You have this
column on
as
the
only
right,
26 pays, because that's where we started thinking we only
it's
had
26 pays that number is calculated on
That
Keely, and
22
you're saying
million.
27.
I mean, it's going to put us right back at square one if we do that way.
You're saying 3% on
All right,
2026. You
Let
see
me
what I'm
amend my
saying?
motion. I make a motion that we adhere to the raises we've already approved in our 10-hour budget meeting.
There you go.
And in addition to that, I recommend we take 184,447 of additional funds to be used as a stipend across all paychecks to try to bring up the paycheck number to compensate for the 27th pay period.
Second then.
I don't know how you do it on payroll, but you're saying you can do it, so.
Yes.
All right, roll call.
Okay, Deb, roll
Okay.
call.
Roll call, Scott Wildred,
No.
Kent Fisk,
No.
Mary No,
No.
Robin Louder,
No.
Keely Butler,
Yes.
and Jim Shelby.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, let's hear a
That
new motion.
eliminates that one, so the only one that we have left that I've not drawn the
Oh,
line under is,
there's other options.
well, I'm just getting ready to read the one that I had next on here that
Oh,
we
next, you can do whatever
discussed.
next.
We need to eliminate these and not keep debating them,
Well,
because we could go on forever.
I think there's two left. There's the take the raises we have and divide it over 27 weeks. And then there's the other one is, the
Well, that,
the
no,
extra
that's
pay.
not, I don't want to mix the two. Let's talk about the first one you just said. You said take
Pick
this,
one.
take
Make a
the
motion.
3% pay
take what we've already done. And we've already set everybody's salary.
And
We've already
divide
set our
that
hourly
divide it
and just
by
divide it by
27.
27 weeks.
Is that a motion, Scott?
That's a motion.
I second it.
I'll third that.
All right, that means they're gonna get a pay decrease on their.
Well, if your alternative's 840,000, that's how we're feeling
So
about it.
what will the average pay decrease be?
In that scenario?
Yeah. Do you think it'd be $10, $15?
It's not gonna, it's gonna probably take my salary down.
Yeah, how much?
Look, your salary your salary doesn't go down. It stays the same.
Yeah, you're dividing
That's the
it.
problem. People don't
Yours
understand. Your
is,
salary
Mine
is
is
going
an
up.
example.
But I mean, it's logical
So
and
you
I think we understand
straightforward.
that the
Okay.
salary's
Right.
going up.
The salary is
but
going up, 'cause
that
you're gonna get
27
another check
pay
that
is
year.
gonna pull it down, and I just keep coming back to people that
1.03,
live
that
on
would
a
Too much shit.
weekly,
times
bi-weekly,
27.
monthly.
It kind of depends on
Let me
how
give you
much
an
it is, though.
example.
Is it
Make a big
$10 or is it
difference.
$100?
Let me give you an example.
Let's
It's
go
quite
ahead,
close.
and he's made his motion,
All right, roll call.
$80 for a
We'll do a
$50,000.
roll call.
and roll call, Deb.
Okay, can I hear the motion again?
The motion's pretty simple. It's, we set the salary already. Everything's done. We're just doing it over 27 weeks instead of 26.
Hey, 27 pays.
27 pays.
Pays.
Sorry, 27 pays.
Okay,
And I seconded that.
I think
and
we're
so
losing-
that
I
was
think we're
Scott
losing.
and Keely. Okay, so then I'm gonna start with
I
Jim.
call for the roll.
We already did.
Well, Jim, you're first.
You're first.
Oh. Yes.
And Keely,
Yes.
No.
and Robin is no, and
No.
Kent?
No.
Mary's a no,
We're gonna need Tammy, yes.
Kent?
So we,
Yeah.
the motion dies for lack of a majority.
Okay, so on a $50,000 salary, person
I think
cuts
I-
$80
I
a
think I
week
break
out of
the
their
tie
pay.
Why we have 7.
We need to have a special meeting.
$80 every 2 weeks, still that's $2. I mean, that's,
We do need to have a
Yeah,
special.
I know.
Yeah.
that it-
That's why I was trying to make up the $80
You're getting that
with the
3% over
stipend.
time, it just doesn't look like it every check.
That was
don't
my
get-
first motion.
You really don't get it
You
until
voted
some
against.
30.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're not gonna make it up till that 27
It was 3 and 3.
years. But
That's really
monthly,
hard
they're
sell.
going to be working with.
It is
one.
hard
So
if
all
you-
year long, you're gonna be cut $80. You know what I mean? You're gonna, all year long, you're gonna cut
They
And
get
if
the
that's
$80.
a pay period, that's
In my first
$160 a
motion,
month.
it made up their $80.
Right.
That was my
That's all it
first
was.
motion,
I
was to
know.
make up the $80.
Was that the paid?
But it took
Wait,
their
you're talking
salary
about
to
that
do
paid
it.
Twice a month?
Or it took their,
You're talking about that
their
motion?
increase for
No,
the
I don't
year.
My
to do
motion,
it.
my
First
motion.
motion was for twice a month.
No.
No, that wasn't my
No.
motion, because you guys said
No.
that wasn't doable. My motion originally was to stick with the 3% increase we've approved over 27 pays and to allocate another $185,000 across the county to be divided up as stipends to make up that, in the case of a $50,000 employee, you're talking about $80 pre-tax a paycheck. So that stipend is supposed to make up, in that example, $80 a paycheck. For somebody that makes 40,000, it's less than 80. If somebody makes more, it's more. But that was
That's
my
160.
original
but
motion, was to make that up with
Both
185,000.
of those motions
Salaries.
don't give anybody an increase until the paycheck that hits December
of the year.
31st.
Which is like a
Well, that's gonna be true for any scenario.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
Okay, except for,
Now, do we
oh yeah, if you could give a 10% raise, 7% raise, sure, you can
Well,
do
if
that.
if you fund the
But I
27th
don't think
pay.
it's not a 7%.
It's
I thought it was a
6.9%.
3.8.
Yeah.
Could we
Yeah, it's
pass
not
the
7%.
3% budget as you've already done and do an additional next year for a 27th pay?
That's a stipend. That's what I did, that's the
No,
stipend.
you're talking about a whole nother
opportunity.
payroll.
Well,
You're talking about $838,000.
I know, but it would be an additional appropriation versus in your budget.
But to Scott's point, we gave a 3% raise, and according to this sheet that was provided by FSG, what that equated to across all these salaries was a difference of $653,948 all year across all the counties, $653,000. So because we have a clerical issue, let's throw 838,000 taxpayer dollars.
I
on
don't
top of
understand the
that.
clerical issue. There's a law that prevents me from paying people in advance.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying taxpayers don't care if we pay them twice a week or twice a month or twice a year. It's the cost of taxpayers. And to say, well, we were gonna do $653,000 of raises, but because of the way the calendar falls this year, we're gonna add another $838,000 on top of that. And then that will compound again and get raises on that in perpetuity is just, as a taxpayer,
I know.
mathematically, it sounds crazy to me.
So my question would be, I'm a taxpayer also. The taxpayers in this understand that sometimes 27 pays happen. Every 11 years, I know that your job is to look and be concise and consistent with the budget and what you think the income is going to be. From my perspective as the HR director, I see there's a possibility we will lose people because they feel like they didn't get a raise or they took a pay cut. We're already losing people. The number one reason that are cited in that I got a job that pays more. And sometimes we get those people back because they realize how good they got here. Sometimes we don't, because their new place of employment is vastly different, and they feel like the employees. My concern is that if this is divided over 27 pays, that the 3.3% feels like a pay cut on my biweekly, and it's okay for me because of what my salary is.
Right.
But the person making $40,000 to do admin work, they may be, and as a single parent, they may be budgeted to the penny, and they think they got a 3% raise, so they are planning on that, and everything is going up.
If somebody would have had the foresight that this was a 27th pay year, then I would have said department heads shouldn't have discretion. We're doing flat raises this year, and it would have benefited as a percentage, more so the bottom than the top, than just leaving that to everybody's discretion. And we could have accounted for how it was gonna play out. And we could have just picked a number like 653,000, which we picked as the most we were willing to spend, and we did. And we let people do what they want with that. And now to say, well, the only viable solution is, and when I say it's almost $1 million, don't forget, we pay FICA tax on every one of those dollars. We have to make a pension contribution on every one of those dollars. Some of our insurance and liability is hinged on how much employee and payroll we have. So it's not even just $838,000. It's every dollar that's counted on those dollars. And to come in here and say, oops, we realize there's a 27th pay, so let's just throw $1 million at what we said we intended to pay people throughout an entire year does not sound like the most viable solution to me, mathematically. If somebody wants to make a motion for that, we can call a roll and make majorities rule. But I will be a no, and I don't know what options we have left to motion on.
I think we may have to end up waiting till there's 7 of us. I think we could move forward with what Deb had said. We can proceed
We
with
can do a special meeting, give more time to think about it.
I think we just need to bring in every department head too, because essentially we're redoing the entire budget. I think every department head needs to be here. They need to be able to answer any question we have, and because essentially we're just redoing the budget. I mean, we all made the mistake. It's not just Deb. We all made the mistake. We're not catching 27
I unfortunately
weeks.
thought it was taken care of when we went from 2 weeks in arrears, or current to arrears. I know that my whole team thought it was taken care of, so
But
it wasn't.
FSG's recommendation, which was not my default, but given now that twice a month pay is not an option, FSG's recommendation was to do an even bigger raise than we already committed to and divide it amongst 27. And that is still what I believe
Well,
is
then
our best.
make that motion.
That was my motion.
I think every
That was my
director could
motion.
look
I
at,
put it
Before?
down. Yeah.
look at it and say, this is what we need to hit to make sure
Okay.
it has.
I don't think that was.
All right, let me
think it was
reword my
either.
motion. I'm gonna make one more motion because perhaps my last motion was not thoroughly understood, okay? I'm gonna make this one more time to see if there's any resolve. I motion that in addition to what we already approved in July, that we appropriate an additional $184,447 to be used across all employees, across all 27 pays, to bring the pay back up to their prior per check level.
But it wouldn't be all employees, it would be only salaried. Is that, right?
We,
No, it'd be full-time.
It's
It'd be
full-time people.
Okay, so full-time, you said all employees, shouldn't say full-time.
I'm sorry, all full-time
Okay.
employees is what I meant.
Okay, that's what, trying to get clarification.
Second.
Can I, point of discussion?
Yeah.
So what do you think the department heads and the people are going to say that their raise, there's not gonna be a raise in their paychecks at the
I tell
beginning of the
them
year?
there is a raise and you're getting
It's
a whole
coming,
extra paycheck.
it's coming in the extra paycheck at the end of the year is what the raise is coming.
Even
Correct.
send an email out to that
As
effect.
long as it's not calculating out as a reduction,
Yes.
I can live with
And
that.
that is what I'm trying to do with that.
It's not a reduction, but they're not gonna get an increase in their pay, but they will get one more pay that year.
When are we,
So essentially, every department would have a 3.85% raise on their salaries.
when is the 27th pay going to be distributed?
January
Well,
31st.
January 30,
Or
December 31st.
December 31st.
All the way to the end of the year?
It's all, yeah.
That's why
And that
it's
check
an
will be
extra
equal
pay,
to every
'cause
other check.
it
won't
falls
be
on that
different.
stupid day.
It won't be different. It'll be the same as every other check.
Nobody, and they're probably not working that
Okay,
day.
Deb, did you
Well,
get
maybe
all
they are.
that?
They are working that day.
No, I did not get all of that. I think that
Yeah, it's every
basically we're
7
going with
years.
FSG's
Well, let's just leave
Yes.
your money.
Raise amount.
raise amount, 3.85.
The only difference is not to change the salary permanently by 3.85. We changed the salary permanently already by whatever we changed
By
it
3%.
And we're
3% of that.
allocating the extra 0.85, which is $184,447, to be used to bring paychecks back to what they.
Allocated
but
over
will it
27
bring
So the
all
next
of the
year, we
paychecks,
will
the
just
people
have
that
the
are paid
3%.
lower? How will it affect their checks?
That, we would have to deep dive into everybody's salaries to see how that affects.
Well, we could, like, look at what our lowest paid people are, just a few of them,
Well,
and
it's like you gave the example of 40,000.
So basically what I think Keely is saying is that everybody's biweekly rate from 2025 stays the same. And then from a council perspective, you just need to allocate the additional money so that we can cover the 28th or the 27th pay when we
Which is the
when we go to
180,000.
pay, which is essentially what the raise is going to be. But everybody's biweekly will stay whatever it was in 2025. Now that takes the department head's discretion out of it because I don't know what we can't know what everybody did for their people. But that would keep them the same at 2025 and then we would just give them an additional whatever their 2025 salary is.
Can we amend our budget to leave the discretion to the department head or office holder as to what their proportionate amount is? Can we just say it has to be a flat?
I mean, you guys have made changes all the way up until you've adopted the budget before. I
3.85.
mean,
If you want to put it on department heads, if you want to calculate the 0.85% by department head and tell the department head that the intention is that they divide that to bring every person's paycheck back to where it was, I think that's a good idea. I think it should not be the department head's discretion to give away the 0.85 because then people's checks can go down. So the whole point of that number is to bring everybody to where they were per paycheck and you're getting a whole extra paycheck.
Alvin, did you have a comment?
yes, I did. Would you take one of our lower salaries, just one of them, and, not right now, but
Okay.
and figure out if the lower people will have less on their checks
Yes.
than what they're making now?
I'm not sure how a person that wasn't gonna get a 3% raise, then how are they gonna get what's their 27th pay gonna be? It's gonna be cut, that last pay gonna be cut?
No, every paycheck
it'll
would
be
be
the
equal
same.
no matter what.
It
Now,
would-
whether or not you ended up with 3.85 or 2 or 6.
3.85.
I know,
and
but
then
we've
divide that by
already told the
27.
department heads
So this,
what,
it would
what
take the
they're,
department
we're
head's
gonna do, and
discretion.
they've told their people what they're
that's-
gonna do.
But it's not final, so.
That would take the if you do it where everybody gets 3.85%, you're taking the department head's discretion out of it to ensure that people's 2025 salary is, or their biweekly in 2025 is the same for 2026. So it just may be that is with the direction you want to go, because then we don't really we base it on performance, but not, because we don't have reviews at the moment. So then maybe in 26, you look at, or 27, you look at basing increases on merit instead of on general.
I wasn't necessarily suggesting that we apply a flat 3.85% across all employees. I wasn't trying to undo what we did. I'm trying to keep what we already agreed upon in July and appropriate another $184,447 to be applied as needed to ensure checks don't go down. No department head that I'm aware of cut anyone's pay if it was going to be 2020, if it was going to be 26 pays, right? Nobody cut anybody's pay. I think everybody got a little something. So those people's pay will go down across 27 pays unless we make up for it with this 184,000.
So quick question on that. The prosecutors, I think all deputy prosecutors got like an 8 or 9% raise. So obviously, if you divide that over 27 weeks, they're still getting a raise. Does that mean they get none of the $185,000 and all goes to like the clerk's office? More of that money goes to the clerk's office, or did they still get 0.85%?
Well, I think it should all be used, I think for it to work out where nobody's check goes down at all, right? They get the 27th pay, and for nobody's check to decrease over 2025 at all, that you will have to be more selective in how you use the 184,000. Because like you're saying, there are some people, if they got a big raise.
Right, they won't need it.
That their check's not going down regardless.
What you're
because they
gonna
got a big enough
face,
raise.
though, is we're gonna have to do a new budget for every single person.
Yeah.
And we don't have time to do that. You know how
Well,
hard it is? I was auditor, Debbie's auditor. It's hard to get all of it in. And it took us, 6 weeks or whatever they had to do it. And I can't imagine, in the length of time we have before we advertise, that we could give this back to all the department heads and they get it all back to us.
I also, to one of the questions, and Scott brought it up earlier, I did some quick math on if someone is making $42,000, their department head gave them a 2% raise because they were allowed to allocate, they will take a paycheck, a pay cut of $28 a pay period. Even with, if everybody doesn't get 3.85%. 3.85% makes up that paycheck, yeah.
Based on if
So
everybody got a 3% raise.
Based
If
on,
everyone got a 3%
in
raise.
order to make people whole for 2025, everybody needs to get a minimum 3.85% raise. To make everybody's
no
paycheck
problem
to be
amending our,
not less than what they're getting in
say
2025.
that this year, for next year, that the raises will be handed out equally to all employees, and there will not be any discretion this year.
Yeah, so if we want to renege on all the department head discretion we gave in the budget process, I think it won't go over well either with employees. I think no matter what you do, it's not going over well with employees. And so, but I will definitely choose reneging over coming off another $838,000 extra dollars.
So I think though
call it
we need to
reneging.
pull
I
the
think
department
we've not
heads in and
finalized
have the
the budget yet,
conversation.
So we're just reviewing it. We're not
Before we-
reneging on anything.
I think we should pull the department heads in and have the conversation before we.
Yes.
Before we make a decision
That's
that,
why.
because some of them have already made commitments.
And especially like somebody like the clerk who's actually here, where she did get big raises. So, I mean, if you change it from her big raises to 4%, I mean, some of the people.
Yeah, we
And
gave
see,
them
there's-
more than 3%.
That's the problem
They were,
with
they were
that.
so far
We've got to
down.
go back
And those
to
are the
every-
low-paid people.
Everything, every single employee, we've got to go back and adjust our budget. Am I wrong, Debbie?
You've got a motion and seconds
Well,
already on the
yeah, but
floor, so you
the-
got
I'm
to
not
get
sure what
something.
the motion is anymore.
But the motion,
It was Keely's.
I knew Keely made it, but I don't,
This is-
I guess I need to see if I can repeat it back. Is the motion that we continue with the 3% raise? And then we allocate another $184,447, and with that lump, it's divided over 27 pays.
Yes, but it would have to be applied, to be determined how much is applied to what employees to make sure their checks don't go down.
You'd have to.
We don't have that info
You'd
today.
have to agree, in her motion has to be in the agreement that the department heads don't have, everybody gets a 3.85. They don't have the discretion not to give somebody a 3.85.
Well, no, what I was saying was we keep what we've already agreed to, and that these extra funds that it takes are specifically applied individually to make sure no employee's pay goes down. Now, I know that's a logistical nightmare. We say changing payroll payouts is logistical nightmare. So the only thing that's not a logistical nightmare is to throw an extra $840,000 at it, which I will fight against till the end.
I hate to have extra meetings, but I don't know how we change with all the department heads without having a meeting to at least discuss that with them to get feedback before we change.
Well, let me say this. If we had a spreadsheet, if our payroll or whatever systems we have had a way to run a report that individually listed each person, 2025, 2026, what we've approved so far, and show how much it went up, the answer is anybody who is 3.85, their check's not going down. You know what I'm saying?
But we have no guarantee what that department head or office holder would do, because if they're given free range on this, then they may give 2.5.
Right, but if we've already approved what we've approved for the people who got 2.5, since we don't want their check to go down, more than 0.85% of that department's allocation would have to go to that employee to get their per paycheck payback to where it is today.
and there'd probably be not that many employees whose check would go down.
No idea.
Well,
Well, and what I'm trying to say is
that.
if we had every employee and it was easy to run a report that showed both numbers, then it's easier to see how many people are we talking about here. You know what I mean? Are we talking about 20 people whose
Right.
check's gonna go down? Because then maybe we just need to deal with 20 people.
Okay, so, I mean, I have one vote, that's all I have. And my thoughts are going to a special meeting that we discuss those options, and we find out if we have 20 people or 200 people, okay? And we discuss the option with the department heads of changing how they can do their raises. And then we make an intelligent decision. But you have a motion and a second on the floor. If you
Yeah,
want to
that
vote, then vote. If it passes, then it passes. If it doesn't, then maybe you
Okay.
could entertain
Okay,
something.
Deb, we have a first and a second on this. Call roll?
Does everybody remember the motion?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes, I think
It's
we-
basically that we're adhering to what's already been done for 26 pays, and then a 0.85 stipend for 27 pay.
No, it was to plan on appropriating another $184,447
I don't mind what
to
Deb
be
said, though.
determined. Okay, it's just agreeing that we're gonna appropriate the extra $184,447 to be determined yet how it needs to be allocated. But to plan on adding that to what we've already approved for the sake of keeping people's pay, given the 27th pay.
so that nobody's pay goes
So
down.
nobody's pay goes down per check.
Okay,
That
Deb,
was seconded, so.
on call roll.
Yes. Jim?
Yep.
Keely?
Yep.
Robin?
No.
Mary? Kent?
No.
And Scott?
Okay, then I'm going to throw at this group, the next two Wednesdays in a row are the 20th and the 27th, to have a special meeting, to finalize this discussion.
How many hourly employees do we have? Just out of curiosity.
We're not going to continue this
I know.
conversation today, no.
But those
we're
are
not.
questions that you, if you want to, I think if we need to know information by this date, then I think you need to be able to say, hey, this is what I'd like to see in 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not answered today, but
And
just
maybe
what
you
we'll
can
see.
get with, if you got, if we can get with these ladies and they can give us some information.
If you want to give them 2 weeks, then let's say then August 27th.
August 27th, we have to advertise our budget by and have that entered into Gateway. So if we're going to touch everybody's
do it next
pay,
week then.
salary,
Let's say
next
the
week would be
20th.
better. And I only need 48 hours to notice a
August
special meeting.
20th?
20th.
Yeah, August 20th, we're going to have a special meeting.
What time?
We'll just meet at 8:30.
8:30?
I'm sorry, people, but that's
can't.
just, I don't see another way right now.
No, there's
Okay.
not. You're right. You have,
I
this is
just don't
too
see another way.
it's,
What
it's a
time can you
mistake we all
know?
made. We just got to fix it.
It affects too many people.
Yeah.
Keith, what time could you be here on that day?
I could be here by,
You just want to make it an after-lunch meeting then?
It's fine.
'Cause I'd like for all seven, if it comes back with 6.
I have to be done by 3.
Well, that's a good stopping point, 1 to
Okay.
3.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Jim, are you awake by then?
That's 1 o'clock. He's been here all day.
is that enough time to advertise?
You only need 48 hours to advertise.
Special meeting.
But now you want us to, you want us to have prepared for you everyone's salary that would be affected by the 27th pay being short, right?
Yes.
And do you want us to reach out to those department heads of those employees to have them there at this meeting as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you want us to reach out to the department heads whose employees will not be having a decrease in their salaries?
Well, my opinion, if you bring in all the department heads, you're gonna have a menagerie.
I
but that's
agree.
just
I
me.
don't feel the need to have the department heads in here. What I would like to
Our
do is let the
decision.
board make their decision and push it out. I don't need, because you're going to have 20 department heads sitting out there with 20 opinions.
Now, look how many opinions we have.
Yeah, and there's only 6 of
Well,
us.
we need to know how many people's
Do
affected.
you want to consult with FSG at all on that either?
I don't want the
Probably.
department heads
I
here.
mean, they're dealing with other counties that have done this, and
In a nutshell, I think if we're only talking about 10 or 15% of people's pay going down, then we need to focus in on that population. If we are only talking about having 10 or 15% of people who are hourly employees, talk about making them salary and just paying twice a month. If it all pencils out
That
the
doesn't
same.
work at all.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
so Sherry, you did it, didn't you kind of check to see how many people were affected by this, that their salaries would go down, or did you not?
I did not do
Okay,
that, but I
okay.
made a
Okay,
note.
I'm going to call an end to this discussion. We're going to be meeting next week at 1 o'clock. I don't feel the need to have the department heads here, but if they want to come down and listen,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
more than welcome to.
Right.
I don't want to spend the amount of time that we have, though, in a discussion, feedback. I think we need to just be ready to vote on what we're going to do during that 2-hour period.
I think we do need to keep in mind, though, we need to advertise the first part of September.
I have to advertise by August 31st.
Okay, so next on our agenda is review the circuit breaker estimates per IC code.
Be in your packets, that's something FSG sent us, and I think Jim knows about that.
Pardon me?
I think this is what you had the FSG work on for us?
Circuit breakers. Oh, the circuit breakers? Yeah, it's kind of, it's where he came up with the $677,000 coming off the revenues, and you can look at it, but that's where it's coming from. We do need to apparently come up with a resolution recommending, well, a resolution for the taxing units recommending that they keep their increases to 4%, following the maximum growth quotient. And also, we need to add to the debt service line item and food and beverage to make it 150,000 instead of 15,000.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
But that worksheet is something that the DLGF just put out. It's new, and if you look at it, if you want to, projected supplemental homestead credit loss of 950,000 is the result of the SB1. And that's new. And that's the reason, the biggest reason our projected revenues are going down to basically zero. But we do need, according to Greg, to add, again, because of this homestead credit, to our line item in food and beverage. I think there's one in there now for debt service of 15,000 to boost that up to 150,000 because of the homestead credit. And the legislature apparently made the homestead credit, in this case, applicable to debt service, whereas in the past they didn't. So we need to increase our. So I guess I'd make a motion that we increase the debt service limit or debt service line item in food and beverage for 2026 to 150,000.
Do we have the money to do that?
For 2026?
Yeah.
For 2026,
Yes.
unless we
Okay.
spend it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will.
All right. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And he wanted us to ask for, I think maybe ask you to do a resolution. Did he talk to you about that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
If you, you and I can talk about it too.
This is for the excess levy appeal?
And also, yeah, he wants the okay to proceed with excess levy appeal for 2026.
Okay, thumbs up on that, you guys, then Jim can work with him on that. Okay, so we've got that one taken care of. We have to, well, since we're jumping all over the place, I'm gonna call John up here next, and we'll discuss the loan needed for those Lucas devices. There should be invoice purchase agreement in your packet that shows that there's equipment total of, and you correct me, John, is it 218,000? Is it that number?
282,000 something else, because that includes, if you go to the very end, it's 218,000 for the equipment and then 60-something thousand for the 7-year maintenance program up front.
282, 469, 43 plus.
Yep, that's it. No, 282, what was the number? I don't.
469, 43.
Yeah, that is the grand total.
That includes the 5-year
That includes
warranty
a
plan?
7-year.
Or 7-year?
Yeah, 7-year pro program and.
Now, that's part of the intention of the commissioners to allocate that money from the 2025 bond.
Correct.
Yes.
Deal
And the
But
problem
None
is.
of them are here to raise their hand to say they're going to do that, but we'll have to take them at their word, I guess.
The problem is John received this quote, and it's only going to be honored until October 1st. After that, there's going to be a price increase. So if he can move forward with the order, and we can supplement the expense somewhere until the bond closes and is available. I did talk to Mary Bomer, it's probably been a week ago, that the food and beverage cannot absorb that. CCD cannot absorb that. So my thought is to just take it out of the general fund and then let the bond pay it back.
Yep.
In the general fund?
Pardon me?
Can the general fund absorb it? That's the question you ask each time. Can the general fund absorb the cost for now?
There's $21 million. I'm not really
And
too
then what's the
concerned about
reserve?
it.
The reserve is 13 million, I think we have to keep. We would only go below the reserve.
Well, we're not going to,
Okay.
$282,000.
Well, that's a discussion you gotta have each time. It's like,
No, I think it's,
Okay.
I think we're fine.
We have it.
Got enough
We've got
money
it.
there, yeah.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that, understanding the intent of the commissioners to fund whatever the number is, for the Lucas devices from the 2025 bond, that we will loan money from that money from the general fund, and it will be repaid by the commissioners from the 2025 bond back to the general fund.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
So there's no additional appropriation with that for you, correct? It doesn't have to be advertised.
We would want to do a thumbs up to
Yep.
advertise.
Yeah. Advertise.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that takes
And-
care of that.
Can I make a motion? Food and beverage? Oh, are you doing something, huh?
No.
We're good? So we're good.
We're good.
We're
Do I
good.
need to come
We'll
back
move on
for the
to something
public
else
hearing
now.
then for?
Yeah, that's what he wanted to make a new motion.
We'll
something
have it
else.
whether.
Yeah, go right ahead, Jim.
I move that we approve the ordinance 2025-8B for the amended food and beverage ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
abstain.
Passes 5-1.
I go. Abstain doesn't count as a no.
That leaves us with, I've got a couple of things here. Last meeting, Buck Creek Township, we really didn't take the time to have much of a discussion, but they had an application for some additional lit distribution, which we've already said that we probably are not going to have the ability to do, but things that they have listed that they are requesting to spend the money on, I thought maybe warranted some discussion, because we're talking about Sugar Creek Township Fire Department and $150,000 out of EDA money. And do we want to maybe only appropriate part of that to Sugar Creek Township and then the other part maybe to Buck Creek? Things that they're asking for that are in a little bit lower price tag is their turnout gears, $40,000. Exhaust system replacements, $103,000. Their alarm system, $40,000. So, and the other two are just a lot higher. So we can talk about this and vote on it at our next meeting if we find out more what we're going to do with the EDA money. But I would like to see this been given some consideration.
But these are different funds, aren't they? The lit funds?
I'm not talking about lit at all.
Well, that's what this is.
This is true, but we've already determined that we probably cannot
Oh, we don't have the money.
expend the lit.
Okay.
So I was wanting to move maybe some of that EDA money and share the love a little bit and support Sugar Creek Township and Buck Creek Township if that's what we choose to do. So I just want you to think about that. And that was in our packet from last month, and we didn't get around to really discussing it very much at all. So that's just food for thought, but I'll put this on the agenda for whenever we decide to talk about the EDA again.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, that takes care of that. I've got a letter here that a gentleman sent to me that I wanted to read into the meeting, and then we can discuss this too, then when we talk about the opioid money. This person's named Brian Hurley. He's vice president of the Friends of CASA, and he is stating, we understand Hancock County has received or will receive funds from the National Opioid Settlement intended to address the impact of the crisis. And what they're asking for is just to give consideration to CASA with this opioid money after we decide what we're going to do with the finalization of the. So I'd like to keep this just in mind when we do discuss the opioid
Well, we have a
money.
committee, so, you know.
Yeah.
I talked to Bill Spalding about that last night. He said, Scott, that we have until a date in January to submit the application on the housing money match that we said we intended to apply for. And Bill said that they would open some kind of process, create some kind of application by which anyone who specifically wants to apply for the housing match to be Hancock County's one project that we compete for at the state level, that there will be a window where anybody can apply to say, pick my project, and then we'll apply, and that was for 500. But Deb, what's left? Isn't there more like 800? So then there was supposed to be what we said.
Yeah, there's like 660 of the restricted, and then 300 or 200
Scott,
something of the
If I give you this
unrestricted.
letter, will
So
you
I
include
already have
it?
it.
You got
did
it
a
too?
500
Yeah,
and
okay.
a 500,000 match.
Okay,
We'd
so
still
we'll
have about
make sure and bring that
260,
up
I
at
think,
your
if I
opioid
can remember
discussion.
those numbers right.
For some
So at the time,
consideration.
we said anything over that, we would open a separate application.
Yeah, I think
That's not the housing proposal.
And I think that he was saying that he's working on a process kind of similar to what Flory and everyone was talking about for any of the opioid money or something like that to get people to come in. And he said that process was, I think, 30 to 45 days, he'd have that complete.
So this is something that will come up
But
during
there
that
will be money
discussion.
left over from what, the match plus, yeah. what
And
he was
then
talking
next year, if we don't get picked for that match, we're still gonna have $500,000 sitting there that we've set aside.
Did you, can I just give this to you so when your committee meets?
I'm not on the committee.
Oh, I
Tammy
thought you were.
is.
I'll give
No,
it,
it's me and Tammy and Bill Spalding and
okay, I'll give it to Tammy then. That takes care of that, and we talked about Buck Creek Lit. Is there anything on this list that I missed?
I move we adjourn.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Oh, wait.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm doing another time.
Okay, George had asked if he could have a minute to speak, and I forgot. I'm sorry, George.